weekend in the pool, on the court, and in the dome. Powered by Michigan Student Aid. The first two football champions were crowned on Saturday at the Superior Dome in Marquette.
Check, check.
Their season holding hardware. Nine fall teams end their season holding hardware. We'll recap a busy weekend in the pool, on the court, and in the dome. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. The first two football champions were crowned on Saturday at the Superior Dome in Marquette with the MHSAA 8-player championships. In Division I, Martin defeated Merrill 74-24 to capture the trophy. Martin had been runner-up the last two seasons, but brings home the hardware this year. J.R. Hildebrand ran for 190 yards and 4 touchdowns, while Carter Ribble added 133 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Hildebrand also threw a touchdown to Sam Jager as the Clippers put up nearly 500 yards of total offense. For Merrill, Joel Tack threw for 328 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Vandals ended the year 12-1. In Division II, guess who? The North Central Jets won their third straight title, beating Mendon 66-26. The win is North Central's 37th straight victory. The Jets returned the game's opening kickoff for a score as Elijah Gorzinski went 85 yards to start things off. Luke Gorzinski threw for 207 yards and 4 scores. Jacob Gorzinski ran for 130 yards and a score. Lane Gorzinski scored a rushing touchdown, and there was probably someone with the last name Gorzinski selling popcorn at halftime. Mendon ends the year 10-3. Jake McCaw scored 3 times and Evan Lukeman once for the Hornets. Complete coverage of both games is available at MHSAA.com. Game balls this week go to the Ann Arbor Pioneer girls swimming and diving team. They won their third straight D1 title and 19th overall. Northville was second. The East Grand Rapids girls swimming and diving team, they were best in the water in Division II. Jennison was second. And to the Bloomfield Hills Marion girls swimming and diving team. They were tops in Division III, with Holland Christian swimming second.
Need money for college? You need My Student Aid. My Student Aid is the go-to resource that helps Michigan families find money to pay for college. Plus, they'll guide you through the financial aid process and answer any questions you have. For grants, scholarships, and more, connect with My Student Aid, helping make college affordable for everyone. Learn more at michigan.gov/MI Student Aid.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with the MHSAA's Sam Davis.
There's a change to the instant replay process for the football finals at Ford Field. All potential scoring and turnover plays will continue to be automatically reviewed. But new this year, coaches will be allowed to challenge one play per regulation with some restrictions. First, a team must have a timeout available and call it to initiate a review. Second, there's a limited number of items that can be reviewed. Those include catch or no catch, ball carrier in or out of bounds, forward or backward pass, and a handful of others. If successful, the coach will be given back the timeout and can make one more challenge in regulation. In overtime, coaches can challenge once, no matter how many overtime periods are played, and only if they have a timeout.
Thanks, Sam. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you are interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. On the volleyball court in Battle Creek, 4 teams earned MHSAA championships at Kellogg Arena. In Division 4, Mount Pleasant Sacred Heart dropped the first 2 sets to Athens, but came roaring back to win the next 3, winning their first finals title in the process. There was another first-time winner in Division 3. Pewamo Westphalia defeated Kalamazoo Christian in 4 sets, winning the first 2 sets, dropping the third, and then winning the fourth, 25-17. In Division 2, North Branch knocked off Cadillac in straight sets. It's North Branch's 4th volleyball title and first since 2016. And in Division 1, Marion beat Northville in 4 sets to cap a tremendous season. Marion finishes 49-1, losing only once in the regular season, and that was to the runner-ups from Northville. For stories, stats, and more from the volleyball finals, please check out MHSAA.com. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. This is our last edition of This Week in High School Sports for this calendar year. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll see you in 2023.
To head over the timeline to Gable. Gable straight to the basket. Elevates. Slams it down over top of Orbaugh. Won't get it. Ryan dribbles to the corner. 15 seconds to go. Ryan Vanderjack up fake. Launches a 3. Good. Oh my goodness. Out to the point. Rosema. Innocent space. Shot scores. 2-goal lead for the Bulldogs. 4-8. Giving on to Titus. Titus angles, pull up shot for the lead. Good! Brady Titus, a scream to the heavens after he knocks it down.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to Game Night. Welcome to Calvin University and Van Noord Arena. Nate Dreyer with you. I'll be joined by my partner in crime, Chandler Timmer, a little bit later on today here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. And what a day it is. It's year-long coverage of, or day-long coverage, I should say, of the Invite here on MichiganSportsRadio.com. Myself and Chandler here on Michigan Game Night will have the first 3 games, and then Eric Wells and Joe Lavoie will have the final game. That one. First up, it's Grandville and Calvin Christian, so a couple hometown across rivals in that contest. We've got FHC and Kenowa Hills in the second game, and then a really, really interesting matchup between 2 of probably the 3 or 4 best teams in the area as Northview takes on South Christian in the third game of the day. So all that coming your way. We've got one stream. We'll just be going all day here from Calvin. It's going to be a really, really terrific day of basketball. We're a little actually behind schedule to start things out. They had some JV contests first, so we're going to have an extended version of our Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show to start off this day. We've got a lot in this first pregame show, including we'll go to Grandville head coach Desmond Young for a pregame interview. If you tuned in last night to the Bulldogs as they picked up that 4-point win over Wyoming, you would have heard that interview as well. But what a win it was to start the year for the Bulldogs. A couple teams that both have got some good wins under their belts to start out this season. Both teams have either brand new first year or second year head coaches. For Grandville and Calvin Christian adds a lot of intrigue into this contest as well, and we've got a lot that we're going to be able to get to in that regard throughout this day. But a great day of basketball really start to finish, and of course thanks to the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency as well as Centennial Securities. They're presenting sponsors here for Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. We'll hear from plenty more of our great partners with Michigan Sports Radio throughout the day as well. All right. Still just reaching the end of the third quarter of the JV contest, as right now Grandville leads 39-33 over Calvin Christian in the JV game that they're playing with these 2 squads right before our main game, and we'll have a lot to still get to and break down. So with that, we're going to quick step aside and send it on over after that to head coach Desmond Young and our Coach's Corner segment. So we'll get to Coach Young, and then we'll have plenty more to break down after that here on the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. A lot to get to for certain here today, and it's Grandville and Calvin Christian to start off the Invite here from Van Noord Arena at Calvin University.
Space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Welcome back, everyone, to MGN and our Coach's Corner segment. Now joined by the head coach of the Grandville Bulldogs, Desmond Young. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm glad it's Friday, and getting ready for the weekend. Had to practice in a little while, but what about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I'm excited for basketball season to tip off right here, and let's get right into it. Second year, of course, here for you coming in as a head coach in general at the varsity level, and also as the head coach of the Bulldogs. I guess let's start by taking a look back on that first season, some of the lessons that you maybe learned, and the excitement that you bring from that from those lessons into year two coming up here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Last year, I thought everything went by so fast. You get your first varsity job, you don't really know all the ins and outs of what really takes to be a very successful program. But then once you get in the season, I feel like everything just goes by so fast. And then you get into the OK conference and OK Red, and it's just a grind all day. Every game you got to come to play, home or away. I think that's one of the things that I took away is being prepared every single game for every single game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I'm excited to see this season, what's coming up, and a really interesting team you bring back. We'll get into a lot of the different pieces of returners and you guys as well, but the first talking point that you've seen a lot of stories around is your junior forward, Cam Regnaris, and a guy that's starting to pick up a lot of D2 and maybe more type offers coming up right here. It looks like a lot of growth that he's had in this offseason. Tell us a little bit where Cam is at and what we can kind of start to expect from him going into year two here at the varsity level.
Yeah, Cam has taken a major step in his development from when I got him last year until now. And I think for him, he's at the point now, I think he's finally starting to love the game of basketball. I've always thought he liked it, but now I can see the next step for him is actually loving it. And he's actually putting the time into it every single day. He's grown. He's one guy that, he wants this, and you can kind of see that from his play at the end of last year, going into the summer and in the preseason so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Just seeing some of kind of the preseason talking of different scouts and things that have seen him, talking about the jump shot and the different things that he started to develop. That's really exciting, especially with some of the other pieces that I think are both returning and new around him. So let's kind of start first, Coach, looking at the guards. Obviously, you look at guys like Tyson Mann, Ryder Haight, Quentin Hendrickson, Drew Hungerford kind of as a guard and a wing, guys that are returning, some other guys as well coming in. Tell us a little bit about this backcourt mix that you have this year, because it seems like a really exciting one to be able to add to this attack that you have.
Yeah, honestly, I think the difference between this year compared to last year is going to be guard play, in the sense of I think we have a little bit more firepower from the guards. We'll be more consistent on the offensive end. I think last year we were kind of stagnant, but I think this year we'll get a lot of ball movement. We'll shoot the ball from the perimeter, and I think that's the one thing about the guards that we have returning, between Tyson, Quentin Hendrickson, Ryder, those guys, Drew Hungerford. They played significant minutes last year, and I know Tyson started every game last year. Quentin started playing a lot towards the end of the year. Those guys have been around, they're around for the summer and stuff like that. So it's an interesting group between our guards and our forwards and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I guess kind of combine then also maybe looking at the 4 spot, the 3 some as well. Tell us about kind of what those pieces are looking like, some of the newcomers as well that we can expect with this team, along with some of those established names that we know from last year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, four spot, the four spot or the 3 spot. I mean, Corbin Heckman, he played a little bit last year. He backed up Cam some. He'll probably slide into that 4 spot. I can go a little different. I can go some different directions if I want to bring in more shooting. The guy like Logan Stockwell, he was a junior last year. He didn't really play much, but he's probably had the biggest summer out of a lot of our guys that people don't even know much about. And so he'll slide in there a little bit. And then I have a sophomore up on varsity as well, and Colin Haybor. He can shoot the ball. He's a shooter too. So, I mean, I have some different options I can go that will go with, the Tyson Mans, the Quentin Hendricksons, and the Riders, and then Cam.
Yeah, no, that's great, because I think you look at this team, and last year, the defense you guys brought to the table every night. It's why every single game of the OK Red, even on nights where you guys frankly had your offensive struggles, you found a way. A little bit about that. Last year's a lot of physical, kind of quarter court, half court man, principles. I know at Grand Rapids Christian you ran some more press stuff when you were there with that program. What is kind of the defensive philosophy looking like this year? More of the same, maybe some other stuff mixed in there. How is that going to look?
For me, I'm a man-to-man guy. I mean, I think everybody knows that. The difference is, yes, we lack a little physical strength compared to this year, but the difference that we can make up with is we're a lot quicker and we're a lot faster. I mean, I'm still going to be the man-to-man guy, half-court guy. I'm not a press guy just because I just don't have the numbers to really do that. But I think the defensive principles will still be the same. Obviously, our biggest goal is, we got to keep Cam on the court. I mean, he can't get in foul trouble for us, because then we're thin behind him. So protecting him, I think we'll do a better job with keeping guards in front of us this year versus getting driven by. Because I thought last year we got driven by some guards a lot, and I think this year we can keep some guys in front of us.
Yeah, no, that's great. And let's take a look, kind of previewing quick your spot within the OK Red. The OK Red is always wide open, but this year, the amount of coaching changes, player changes, everything we've seen, I think it's as open as it's been in a long time. I mean, you can even make an argument to some extent. There might be 8 teams that can beat all other 8 teams, every single night. It's that sort of competition. Tell us kind of about the OK Red this year, some of what you're expecting to see, and how this team's going to fit into the picture.
Yeah, honestly, this year I've been looking at other teams and just seeing like what other teams got coming back. I honestly think the OK Red is wide open this year, really wide open. I think the biggest thing is you got to win your home games, and some games you got to steal some of those games on the road. But I think anybody, I mean, you have to come ready to play in OK Red every single night. I mean, against anybody, because I think anybody can upset anybody. I mean, we got a couple of new coaches between EK and West Ottawa and stuff like that. But I think, we all kind of have a sense of what teams have and what they got coming back. But the thing about it is you got to come ready to play those nights too, no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm so excited to see the way that things are gonna shake out. Not very often do you have the ability to see a program like West Ottawa lose a coach like Coach Windemaller, and then also a program like East Kent would bring in a 3-time state champion to be their head coach. So it's going to be really interesting to watch how that all shakes out. And, of course, that's tough, but also the other thing that's super tough is your December schedule. I mean, between showcases, between some of these games you've had scheduled, starting against Wyoming, who is always one of the best coached, toughest teams. Tell me a little bit about the importance and the expectations you have in some of these first games, really learning what this team has against the best of the best from right off the jump this first month.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is my overall goal is I want to turn Grandville High School or Grandville, the city of Grandville, into a basketball area. And I think for me is just getting our kids in the spotlight of playing those really good teams, those teams that are known. And so for my schedule and the non-conference schedule, I want to play those good teams. So that's why we're opening up against Wyoming. And then the next day we turn around and play Calvin Christian, who's been very good. But they're obviously, those two teams are different styles. And then you turn around, we play in a showcase, and you could end up seeing you got West Catholic, then you got Northview, and then in the middle of the season we play Grand Rapids Christian.
Yep.
So it's for me my goal is just I'm trying to build it here, and I think if we play the good teams, people will want to come see that, and people would want to be a part of this program.
No, I totally agree, and you could see it building through last year. I think the excitement around this team and this program, and I think it's only going to explode this year because I think you guys have got a chance. We talked about how wide open the OK Red is. I'm excited to see this team's role in that going forward. Thanks again, Coach, for your time, and good luck coming up this season.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Grandville head coach Desmond Young here on MGM. And welcome back here to Van Noord Arena. Nate Dreyer with you. Thanks again to Coach Young for coming on with us for both our tailgate report interview that he had with us and then this pregame spot as well. Got a chance to talk to Coach Young. Congratulate him, of course, coming off the win yesterday for the Bulldogs. They go 1-0 on the year with a really tough 57-53 win over Wyoming on MGN Air. And I believe his little comment to me is he's probably never going to schedule Wyoming that early in the season again because there's no team that runs quite like them, but how impressive was it for the Bulldogs to be able to slow down that Wyoming attack and to be able to play a little bit more of their game and keep that Wyoming team, again, just scoring 53 points. Wolves team last year under Coach Vanderklay averaged about 70, 71 points per game. So the Bulldog defense certainly back in full, and even with some missed shots and some missed opportunities, they still were able to put up a win and a solid fight down the stretch. Calvin Christian, first-year head coach is Matt Veltema. Of course, Ryan Stevens, the head coach here for a very long time with so much success. He resigned before the start of the season, so former player Veltema takes over. They are 1-1 to open up the year. They got a win over West Michigan Christian on Tuesday, and then last night they played Unity Christian in a hard-fought game. They lost that game 67-59 as Coach Sudsma and the Unity Christian side got back on track after they lost to Covenant Christian to start out their year. So Calvin Christian looking to get back in the win column. Granville looking for a 2-0 start and what is a very difficult schedule they each have to begin their 2022-2023 campaign. And it all really gets going here on kind of the second day of the season for the Bulldogs, at least third day of the season for Calvin Christian at the Invite. First to 4 games, the first to 3. We'll be right here with myself later on. Chandler Timmer will join me here courtside on MGN. Again, Kenowa Hills, Forest Hill Central. The second game that follows, Grandville versus Calvin Christian, and then Northview and South Christian wrap up the day here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. But we aren't done after that. Michigan Sports Radio and the Grand Rapids Catholic Central broadcast team with Eric Wells, Joe Lavoie will finish the day for a really fun one between Rockford and Catholic Central. Now, the big note of the day here as we continue on our Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show and have about 2 minutes left in the JV game before about a 15-minute warm-up period will begin for the two varsity squads, is there is a shot clock today, something that the MHSAA starting last season we're allowing in terms of slight usage of is the shot clock, and for tournaments like this to be able to early in the season experiment with it, well, that's exactly what you are going to see today. 35-second shot clock that is going to be put into use, and it'll be interesting to see the way that it changes some of these attacks as well. You look at the teams here for the most part, a little bit faster teams on the whole. You don't have a team, say like a West Ottawa of years gone by that are looking to take up a lot more time, or Hudsonville, for example, off the clock. But still, if you think of some of these games coming down to the end, that may be more of a grinding game as both teams are trying to get into defense, get into their offense as well. That's going to be something that's going to be lost. It's going to be really interesting, especially when you think of the games later in the day with the talent. A game like Northview versus South Christian, we expect it to be a game where both teams are running a lot to begin with. It could be on top of that even a little bit faster and a little bit more interesting with the way that things ultimately go. So we've got a very, very full day, to say the least, coming up right here. And Grandville Calvin Christian, what a way to start it. Two crosstown rivals that we've seen play multiple times here on MGN Air over the year, but a lot of X factors. We said new coaching staffs within the last year or two for both of these two teams, but you know what they're going to do, and both teams bring back a lot of guys that help lead the way from last year. You think about Cam Regneris for Grandville, Carson DeHaan for Calvin Christian. Really, their leaders last year are back and expect to be in an even bigger role this season. Cam Regneris, 14 points last night, the win over Wyoming for the Bulldogs, and Cam in that contest as well. I mean, the 14 points doesn't even go to fully tell you the impact he had on the game when you look at some of the help and the attention he was drawing on the offensive end of the floor. Of course, several shot blocks, and other things that he was able to do, open up a lot of wide open shots that the Bulldogs didn't even necessarily make. I think that's the really big thing when you look at the way the Bulldogs played in that win. They scored 57. They played terrific defense, of course, 53 at the high pace that game was at. But there were 10, 15 points even that were left off the board for the Bulldogs in terms of wide open looks that you would normally expect a lot of their snipers in the backcourt to be able to knock down. So I think if you play that game 10 times the exact way it goes, I think Wyoming made a lot of tough shots. Granville missed a lot of open shots. So for the Bulldogs to still come away with a win, I think they'd feel good if they got a chance to play that game over and over again. For Calvin Christian, like I said, Unity Christian, so going up last night and falling in a game against one of the faster teams, of course, in the area as well, Coach Sizma's team at Unity Christian. And they bring back a lot of good pieces. This is a team that's very long on the wings. They've got guys that can handle the ball very well, shoot the ball. And talk about Carson DeHaan, their leading scorer, leading rebounder a year ago. He plays kind of the 2-guard or maybe a 3 on the wing, 6'4", very experienced player as well that you can expect to see out of him. And when you're able to bring back a guy, even if you don't bring back the same head coach, but you bring back a guy that led you last year like DeHaan in scoring and rebounding, that helps bring everyone else together. Matthew Elderkin, the 6'5" junior wing, will be alongside him there. And just an experienced backcourt. Jack Ajema, James Daniels comes back, Jace Hogan. They've got a lot of guys that can really run the system well. They're going to do a lot of pressing as well. You can see that even with what the JV team has done, it's typically more of a 1-2-2 trap type of defense, not the all-out full court or 1-2-1-1 type diamond-in-one press that the Bulldogs saw last night against Wyoming. But you are going to see a little bit of trapping, a little bit of pressure likely put on by this Calvin Christian team, trying to maybe slow the Bulldogs down, getting the ball up the court, maybe force a turnover or two. Be curious to see the pace that the game ultimately is run at. But Calvin Christian certainly will look to turn defense into offense. They do that very well, and they've got all these long, lanky, athletic wings that are going to be a big factor in helping that sort of offensive attack. JV game coming to a close. It's going to be the Bulldogs by about 15 points, taking down the Squires in the JV contest. So we've got about a 15-minute warm-up that will be up, and following that, we will get the action underway from the invite. Long day coming up, and of course thanks to Grand Rapids Storm and Calvin University for helping put this terrific event together. It's going to be a great day all afternoon long and into the evening here at Van Noord Arena on game night on Michigan Sports Radio, as well as just on Michigan Sports Radio a little bit later on. Grandville, Calvin Christian, the first one up. It is the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. We'll step aside for one more really, really quick break, and when we come back, we will keep rolling through this one as the warm-ups will begin, and we'll get into some of the matchups, some more of the key players that you can keep an eye out for in our first one of the day.
Towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINR.
It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
you've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
And welcome back here to Van Noord Arena. Nate Dreyer with you here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. Again, CT will join me a little bit later on today. Grandville, Calvin Christian, both out on the court, warming up. Looks like we'll be about 10-15 minutes behind the original scheduled start time in this one, as we get the invite underway with this team of kind of crosstown rivals with Grandville and Calvin Christian. They had to travel out of Grandville to play, but they'll be playing here on Van Noord Arena's floor in just a few moments. So a lot to look forward to, of course, in this contest, and a lot of talking points as we get into this one as well. First off, for Calvin Christian, of course, the big storyline before the season is Ryan Stevens steps down after a long, long time at the helm of the Squires program and so much success, particularly in Class C. Division III, based on what year it may have been, what it was called. But former player Matt Veltema now steps in for the retired head coach. And as I mentioned a moment ago, the storyline of new coaches for both teams. Second year for head coach Desmond Young. He talked to us in that pregame show about all he learned last year in his first season as a head coach at the varsity level, and already able to go out, take down a very good and, of course, very well-coached Wyoming team to start out the year last night. So a good start for the Bulldogs on that side of things. 1-1 for Calvin Christian. We'll see what Coach Veltema is able to do in terms of trying to get his team to bounce back from a loss last night to Unity Christian in their second contest of the year, after it was a West Michigan Christian win that they had on Tuesday night to open up their season. Talked about big returners for both teams being a key storyline for Calvin Christian. You see Carson DeHaan, the senior 6'4" wing. He returns. He was the leading scorer, the leading rebounder for them a year ago. He does a lot of things. He can really play anywhere based on his style of play, from the 2-guard on up to maybe playing more of a 4 and an inside kind of more post player even at some point in some time, based on what sort of matchup he may have. Of course, that matchup may not be in there in the post today, as Cam Regneris will step in for the Bulldogs at 6'7", 6'8", a little bit more size that he'll have the advantage on. But interesting to see the way that DeHaan may be utilized, coming back as the leading scorer, as I said, leading rebounder from this Calvin Christian team one season ago. Very strong backcourt that Calvin Christian brings. Jack Ajema, James Daniels, Jace Hogan out there. Talk about Matthew Elderkin, another kind of 6'5" forward and wing for this team. But that's the really big thing about Calvin Christian. They're so good in the backcourt. They've got shooters. They've got guys that can handle the basketball very, very well, very efficiently, and they're able to run that press and that trap, I really should call it more, with the 1-2-2 kind of three-quarter court variety is oftentimes what you see them traditionally have broken out, and what they've broken out early in this season, trying to get steals, and even sometimes it is just slowing down the other offense, forcing them to make a couple passes to get the ball off the floor. The Bulldogs broke the press so incredibly well last night against Wyoming. And again, that Wyoming press, a little bit more havoc, a little bit more chaos, in either a man or a diamond in one type variety versus more of a three-quarter court type trap. But the Bulldogs showed, with having 3-4 guys that can handle the basketball, and a lot of different, really just point guards that they'll play out at one time, how well they were able to handle that. You talk about the Bulldog backcourt. I mean, they just struggled to shoot the basketball last night despite the win. I mean, you look at Quentin Hendrickson, a lot of open looks he wasn't able to knock down. Ryder Haight able to make some looks, missed a couple. Tyson Mann, foul trouble early. He was really quiet, not really even on the floor in the first half. He goes for 9 points in the final quarter to help ice down that win in the end. So you look at the Bulldogs guards looking to roll into that higher level. We didn't see too much of Logan Stockwell, who started on the wing as well. Be curious to see what he is able to do as today in the season rolls on. Up front for the Bulldogs, the big talking point, because those are the guys that led the way. The leading scorer, of course, Cam Regneris. We talked about him on the top of our Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agents pregame show. Cam was so good. He was drawing so much attention as well, scoring down low. Didn't really see too many of the outside shots going for him. He was trying to draw more of that interior presence. That's something that we know is starting to enter in his game a little bit as well. But the guy that really jumped off the page was Corbin Heckman, the 6'4 junior, his second year up on varsity, going in and starting at the 4. I mean, he was stealing balls at the perimeter. He was getting rebounds, very aggressive player. Knocked down a couple triples as well, helped space the floor even more so, adding some of that 6'4 size. Very important when you've got matchups like Elderkin and like Carson DeHaan that he will likely be drawing at that kind of 3, 4, 5. Various different positions. So very, very impressed, and for good reason, with what Corbin Heckman did last night for the Bulldogs, and expect to see play like that likely continue out of him. And the Bulldogs in Grandville just mostly looking to see a couple more wide open shots go. They didn't necessarily have those shots going in the opening game and still came away with a win. They show the defense. I mean, that's been the talking point with Coach Young since he came in last season. This is a team that just consistently is at the top of their game on the defensive end of the floor. You looked at a way they were able to even slow down a little bit of the Wyoming attack. They forced Wyoming out. I mean, constant attempted at the least, and open look all night long, especially in that second half. That's how grinding the Bulldogs' core-to-core defense was. That's the core of what Coach Young wants to do, and you really see the second year of the system a little bit more athletic team, maybe less size, but a little bit more athletic team, 1 through 5 this year for the Bulldogs. We're right on top of against another really athletic Wyoming team. Now you've got a long and kind of lanky athletic, maybe a little bit more grinding from time to time versus Wyoming, of course. Calvin Christian team. It'll be interesting to see some of those similar matchups and how things work themselves out tonight. For the Bulldogs, though, defensively, it's going to be stopping the wings that'll be so important to what they're going to be able to do. Dahan, Elderkin, talked about him, 6'4", 6'5". Guys that play the 3, they play the 4. They may, even based on the rotation, find their way into the post a little bit as well. And even if they are starting at a 5, they don't necessarily play that game because they can handle the ball. They can drive. They can angle from the perimeter. And that's what the Bulldogs have to do. What can they match up? You think about Logan Stockwell started on the wing yesterday. Drew Hungerford, more of a 2 guard. But, of course, we know the way he played on the football field, so much bigger than his size a lot of time in the secondary. He may have to play that matchup. Corbin Heckman going to be very, very critical. What can the Bulldogs do to kind of handle some of those mismatches that Calvin Christian brings with a lot of size on the wing? Athletic, lanky guys that can certainly shoot the basketball and can also drive athletically in the full court as well. So that's something to watch out for in this matchup. And then the question for the Bulldogs is who is able to continue or maybe step up their play from Game 1. Corbin Heckman's so good. Can he even take it to another level? Can Cam Regneris get a couple more shots even to fall than what he did the first night of the year? And then you're mostly looking at the backcourt. Can Quentin Hendrickson knock down some open shots that just weren't falling for him on the first night of the season? The same can be said for Ryder Haight, who knocked some down later, but, kind of had some periods as well. The Bulldogs had so many open looks. If they're able to convert some of those open looks that they just were not hitting on the first night of the season, I think you're going to see a good opportunity for the Bulldogs to try to go 2-0 and finally get a win over Calvin Christian. It's been a few years since they've been able to, in this kind of on and off again crosstown rivalry, be able to pick up a win in this matchup. So that's all things that we are keeping an eye on, still about 10 minutes away from tipping off our first game of the day here at the Showcase. It's Coach Veltema and Coach Young each watching their warm-ups right now, broadcast right. The Bulldogs going through their warm-ups. Calvin Christian to broadcast left here on the floor of Van Noord Arena at Calvin University. Both coaches having a discussion with each other at center floor right now as well as they get ready for this matchup. And so many things that you've known about these two teams the last couple of years. When you bring in Coach Stevens and you bring in his system, it's roughly the same system still. Versus the Bulldogs. Previously, of course, under Coach Klingler, now under Coach Young, you kind of knew what they were bringing to the table. Now you've got some X factors, you've got some question marks, and you've got some new pieces as well. It's going to be an exciting day, and it's just the first day here. The gym already starting to fill up. Student sections for both sides have found their way into the gym here at the Invite, and we are certainly going to have a really, really good one all afternoon long. Here again, Grandville Calvin Christian tips off the day. Forest Hills Central will play Kenowa Hills in the second game. That's a fun one because you've got a lot of high-level players across the teams, but especially the top guys. Javion Otten, the Grand Valley State commit for Kenowa Hills, hit a game winner in their first game of the season on Tuesday night. And then also, you think about Forest Hills Central. They bring a lot of good players. Jonas Vanderwood in particular, maybe one of the best snipers in the area. Shot something like 43% from 3 last year, did Vanderwood in his sophomore year. So he's back, and he will help lead the Rangers as they look to take down the Knights of Kenowa Hills in that second game of the day. And, of course, the third game needs no introduction. It is Northview, maybe the most talented team on this side of the state, maybe one of the most talented teams in the state in general. They brought in a whole bunch of transfers, bringing a whole bunch of talent that was there last year as well. Some young guys come up, and Coach Chana, Coach Jeff Anima, formerly at East Kentwood, also there as well. They certainly bring a lot of coaching experience as well to the table. That's going to be a really fun team. And South Christian on the other side, first-year head coach Taylor Johnson, who I had a chance to talk to this morning. We'll have a Coach's Corner interview with him, the Sailors' new first-year head coach, before the start of that contest. So that also be really fun. He's got a lot of great young players, of course, led by the sophomore Carson Viss, who looks like he is going to be a very, very special, one-of-a-kind type basketball player, and already showed that in their win on Thursday over Holland Christian. I believe he went for 26 in that contest. Those are the 3 games on our air. Michigan Sports Radio, Eric Wells and company take the final game as well. You can find it right on the Listen Live page on Michigan Sports Radio as Catholic Central takes on Rockford. Really fun one. Rockford likely the favorite for most. It was both for Chandler and I on our tailgate report that you can check out, by the way, our basketball season preview tailgate report on the Michigan Game Night YouTube page. So make sure you check that out either today or between some of these other games. But we both had picked Rockford to win the OK Red. There's a lot of other good teams in the OK Red we'll see. And, of course, we know what Catholic Central is every single year. I mean, when you have arguably, not even arguably, the best backcourt in the state with a pair of D1 players with Fat Brooks and KK Brown, you certainly know what you can expect out of the Cougars in the matchups that they bring to the table. So shot clock on today, and a really fun, fast, high-flying afternoon of basketball is on as well. I'm Nate Dreyer with you. As said, Chandler Timber joins me a little bit later here from Van Noord Arena. He'll be around probably for hopefully the start of the second game or maybe just into the second game a little bit. Certainly will be here as we wrap up the day with that incredible matchup to close things between South Christian and Northview. At least wrap up our day with South Christian and Northview. 7.5 minutes until we tip off our first action of the day. We'll take one more quick break. We'll be right back here from Van Noord Arena.
The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car.
My car!
And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
And welcome back here. Nate Dreyer with you here from Van Noord Arena, continuing through our Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. All right, let's get to some of the keys to the game in this one as both teams are back out and continuing their warm-ups at the Invite for Calvin Christian. First-year head coach Matt Veltema. I think the trap going to be very big for them. Talked about that, and you look at their win over West Michigan Christian. They were very, very effective with, again, it mostly looks like a 1-2-2 type three-quarter court trap that they utilized. They were able to get some steals out of that. They're able to get some interesting different looks coming back the other way. So that'll be very critical for them, trying to get those easy baskets and then be able to use some of that wing size that they have attacking the basket. And really, even in the half court using that wing size they have, they potentially have got some mismatches to watch. Now a guy like Corbin Heckman, who's defended the perimeter so well for the Bulldogs, is going to be a good counter. But you think about DeHaan, you think about Elderkin, what they can bring to the table. Attacking the full court as well as attacking on the wing and in the half-court sets, they're going to be a big part of what this team has to do. Guard play always so important for Calvin Christian. Throughout the years when Coach Stevens is here, I'm sure that continues with a former player now at the reins of this program. It's always important. They always bring great guards, especially point guards, to the table. You think back to Ryan Stevens' son, Brock, a few years ago, came to Grandville, really controlled that game very well. That's a very key point of what they always are looking to do, Calvin Christian, that is, in the backcourt. But especially look to the trap, look to them trying to get some mismatches on the wing that they're able to utilize with some of their wing size and athleticism. For Grandville, I think they want to settle this game into a little bit more of a half-court rhythm than the other way, especially on their own end of the floor. If Grandville can limit turnovers, they can get into that grinding quarter-court man-to-man defense that they utilize so well against Wyoming. You certainly can expect the Bulldogs to be able to shut down a lot of what Calvin Christian is going to try to do. And that's just where they want to be. They want to be playing. They may turn it into some easy buckets down the other way, but especially the Bulldogs just so good at when they are grinding on their own end of the floor, when they're getting their looks on offense, when they're able to, in the half court, get double teams on Cam Regnaris and go from there. And that really is kind of the next talking point in terms of keys to the game for the Bulldogs. They need to get the shooting going at the end of the day. They were able to hit just enough shots to win last night, but with the amount of attention that Cam Regnaris has drawn, you can expect him to continue to draw. If the Bulldogs are able to draw that attention to him, get wide open looks, and knock them down, they'll be able to get runs going. They'll be able to maintain leads that they may be building on the defensive end of the floor, and that is going to be the critical point of this game, I think, for Grandville. They just need, I mean, you hate to boil down basketball games sometimes to the keys to the game is making shots, but you can trust this Grandville defense to do what it's going to do. They've done it for a couple years, of course, now under Coach Desmond Young. But if they're just able to hit the shots that maybe weren't falling a night ago and they do fall tonight, I think that's going to put the Bulldogs really in the perfect position to put a chance to beat Calvin Christian and to go to 2-0 on this season. Grandville, a team, of course, 12-11 last year on the season. They scored about 52 points per game. They gave up about 52 points per game, just a little over 52 scoring, a little under 52 given up. So this is a team that was right in that very grinding style last year. I think you can expect a little bit more scoring, a little bit more open play out of the Bulldogs during the course of this season, but I don't think you can expect things to really get out of control too much with Coach Young, the grinding style he plays. I mean, so many matchups to watch. You get to watch the guards go at it in this team. Both teams have got a lot of guards that they're going to be able to rotate through and do some interesting things with. For Calvin Christian, of course, all the great talent on the wing. For the Bulldogs, they've got the talent inside. They've got talent on the wing as well. These teams match up with each other very well. That's what is going to be so fun in this game. About a minute and a half until we get this first game of the day underway from Van Noord Arena. What a day of basketball it's going to be. Thanks for tuning into the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agents pregame show. It was an extended version. It was a while ago that we talked to Coach Young on this pregame show, but both teams wrapping up their warm-ups and getting ready to start our day of basketball. It's going to be a great one here at Calvin University's Van Noord Arena. It's the invite on Michigan Game Night and Michigan Sports Radio. The first three games are right here on Game Night. We're going to step aside. We'll be right back here from Van Noord Arena.
Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Yeah.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
And welcome back to the Invite and Van Noord Arena. Nate Dreyer with you here for the first game. I'll be joined by Chandler Timmer a little bit later on here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. What a good one to open up the day. It's a crosstown rivalry. It's Grandville, it's Calvin Christian. These teams with a rich history against each other. They've played some really great ones in the past, and it's going to be a ton of fun for certain in this one here tonight. If you tuned in last night, the Bulldogs will have the same starting lineup as a night ago. We're also getting the starters in right now for Calvin Christian in this contest and what we can expect in this game. For the Bulldogs, traveling maroon uniforms, numbers in gray, Grandville in script across the chest, black and gray trimming down the side. The Bulldogs will start the senior guard, Tyson Mann, along with the senior guard, Quinn Hendrickson. Also in the backcourt, they have the senior guard, Ryder Haight, drawing into the starting lineup. Sorry, check that. It's not going to be Ryder Haight. It's going to be Logan Stockwell drawing in to the starting lineup for the Bulldogs on the wing, the senior, and then up front the Bulldogs will have the junior center at 6'8", Cam Regnaris, and the junior forward at 6'4", Corbin Heckman. For Coach Veltema in his first season, he brings Calvin Christian out in their home white uniforms. Numbers are in green, trimmed in green and gold. And for the Squires in their backcourt, you'll see the senior guard, Jace Hogan, along with the senior guard, Carson DeHaan. DeHaan will play on the wing, 6'4", as I mentioned, the returning leading scorer and rebounder from last year's team. Up front, they'll have the senior forward, Cameron Hendrickson, as well out there. And the junior wing and forward, Matthew Elderkin, gets the start for the Squires as well. Again, head coach for Calvin Christian, Matt Veltema in his first season. Desmond Young in his second season running the Bulldogs bench will have the control of this contest. And we are just about ready to go. Traveling maroon uniforms for Bulldogs, home white uniforms for the Squires of Calvin Christian. Calvin Christian 1-1 on the year. The Bulldogs currently sit at 1-0 after their win over Wyoming last night on MGN Airwaves. And we are just about ready to get this one underway. It'll be Elderkin jumping against Regnaris. Give 3 inches or so to Cam Regnaris on this jump. Van Noord Arena ready to roll with the Invite. What a day it's going to be. And the Bulldogs push it ahead off the opening tip for the control of Quentin Hendrickson. The senior guard will set things up for the Bulldogs offensively as Calvin Christian settles into a half-court man-to-man defense. Handoff right wing, Tyson Mann thrown to the left side for Stockwell, who holds it above his head. Gave it on to Regnaris, got it back, top of the key. Angle drive down the right side, jump stop, right-hand shot, off the glass, good. Good start. Down low, Logan Stockwell with his first 2 points of the ball game. And right to left, Calvin Christian goes to work. Carson DeHaan, the 6'4" senior, will have the control. First 30 seconds gone. Skips it left wing for the control of Cameron Hendrickson. The junior dribbles with the right hand, loosely watched, top of the key by Corbin Heckman here. They're trying to set up the offense. Kicks it right corner onto the lanky wing, Elderkin. Elderkin holds, tries to hit DeHaan, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the reaching left arm of Stockwell. It'll stay baseline right inbound with the Squires here. 7:20 to go first quarter. 2-0 early, the Bulldog lead in this one from Van Noord Arena. Right side of the key, the inbound will be coming here from Hendrickson. Hendrickson, ball above his head, flings it all the way in front of half court to Elderkin. He'll set it up, defended by Tyson Mann. Right wing handoff onto Jace Hogan. Swung around left corner for Hendrickson. Hendrickson walks to his right, launches a 3 over top of the defense from Heckman. No good. Calvin Christian rebound. Skip pass out right wing for Hogan. In rhythm triple will not go. The Bulldogs rip down the rebound, racing up the left side of the floor with Hendrickson. Kicked it to Mann. Left corner with space. Launches a triple. Spins it home. 5-0 Grandville. First minute gone. Nice triple from Tyson Mann. Puts him on the board in this one. He's got 3, and the Bulldogs have a 5-point lead. 6:48 and less. First quarter. Swung right wing to DeHaan. The senior jabs. Defended here by Stockwell. Hands off just to his right side to the curling Jace Hogan. Hogan hands off. Free throw line. Elderkin swings it left corner on to Boma. Boma gave it top of the key to DeHaan, who hands off left wing for Elderkin. Jabs to the defense. Hand off top of the key. Jace Hogan back on left side. DeHaan jabs, drives, gave a bit of a right hip on to Stockwell. Creates the contact. In rhythm jumper, good. And DeHaan on the board for the first time in this one, along with his team 5-2 with 6:15 and less in the first quarter. Hendrickson left wing on for Heckman. Heckman defended by Boma. Throws it down left block to the curling Regnaris. He'll fake right, spin left, right hand in rhythm shot, no good. Grabs his own rebound down low through a pair of defenders, forces off the glass and good. And the Bulldogs go back up 5-7-2. Cam Regnaris, good work down low. Angle drive, left wing, Elderkin, cut off left block by a pair of defenders. Kick back around Elderkin, left wing, and he'll swing it up top with a two-hand pass to DeHaan. In rhythm jumper, short off the front rim from deep three. Will not go, and off the rebound from Hendrickson, who's got another one. He'll race up the floor. Calvin Christian settles into half-court man defense one more time. 5:40 to go first quarter, 7-2 Bulldogs. Top of the key, Hendrickson working with it. Hand off on the weave, top of the key with Tyson Mann. Mann has it poked away from him by Hendrickson, out of bounds into the scorer's table. And the Bulldogs keep possession on the right side of the front court right here. 7-2 Grandville. Stockwell to throw it in here for the Bulldogs. Stockwell, the first points of this game, waiting to get the ball right here. No changes so far with the units that either team have been utilizing early here at the Invite game one. Stockwell, two hands up top for Quentin Hendrickson. Hendrickson, crossover dribble, left corner, swings it with two hands onto Mann. Mann, jump pass, right side, Heckman's cleared back up top for Hendrickson. He'll lob one down low for Regnerus. Catches, scores off the window of the left. Good work down low through some good defense. Regnerus with 4, and the Bulldogs a 9-2 lead early. 5:15 and less first quarter. Good start for the Bulldogs. Elderkin crosses free throw line, angles into the lane. Reverse layup over top of Regnerus, will not go. Rebound down to Hogan. In rhythm floater short. Can't get it to go, and a nice leaping rebound secured and turned away by Cam Regnerus. Quentin Hendrickson left to right will run the Bulldog offense. Hendrickson, top of the key, hand off. Regnerus with space, thought about the triple, hands back on to Hendrickson, back top of the key. 3 on the way for Regnerus. Strong, got a friendly touch off the glass and falls, and immediately Calvin Christian wants a timeout. A triple from Regnerus. He's got 7 early points, and the Bulldogs have a 12-2 lead. We'll be right back here from Calvin University.
Helping whenever they can.
Academic excellence, character-driven athletics, Christ-centered community involvement.
Cornerstone has been a great opportunity for me to grow as a leader, just being able to approach people and be warm and welcoming and hospitable.
Experience it for yourself. Attend a Golden Eagle Day at Cornerstone for a taste of campus life and the chance to meet faculty and staff. To arrange a visit for your high school junior or senior, go to cornerstone.edu. Cornerstone University. Build a life that matters.
A sense of purpose, a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of pioneering the best health and safety standards because safe student transportation is essential. We are hard-working folks, connecting children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career. Want to make your community a better place? We'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean family today and help to connect our kids to brighter futures.
Back in play from Calvin. DeHaan throws one cross court. Leaping interception made by Quentin Hendrickson, who will run the break back the other way for the Bulldogs. Hands off left wing. Regnerus gave a shimmy. Drives left wing. Right hand shot will not fall at the block. Grabs his own rebound. Forces up another shot through some contact. He's fouled. The shot will not go. Foul on Boma, his first and our first of the game. And Cam Regnerus already off to a really good start. He's got 7. We'll go to the line here for the Bulldogs. 4:25 first quarter. 12-2 the Grandville lead. 7 early points for Regnerus. What a start for him. Bends the knees. Right hand free throw. Good. He's got 8. So 8 early for Regnerus. Obviously leads all scorers. Sam Betton will check in here for Jace Hogan as the junior center brings a little bit more size for Coach Veltema. One more up at the line for Regnerus. Hit them both. He kind of struggled at the line yesterday, but able to go pure right there at the line. He's got 9 already. His team has a 14-2 lead. Great start for the Bulldogs in this one in their second contest of the year. Hendrickson to run the point, right wing with the ball. Dribbling right hand, reaches around a defender, threw it down to right block, trying to hit a leaning Elderkin. He somehow is able to secure it and whip it behind his back to Benton left corner, and the Squires work it around left wing to Carson DeHaan. DeHaan, low dribbles, their lone points in this game. Went between the legs, drives left side on Stockwell. They got Stockwell on a grab. First foul on the game on the Bulldogs and on Logan Stockwell. Had some good defense there on the lanky Carson DeHaan. Ryder Haight will check in for the first time for the Bulldogs. As off that foul, it'll be Stockwell taking a seat, and the Bulldogs go with a little bit less size and more of a guard-oriented lineup right here. I mean, almost a full head, as it's Haight that it will be defending DeHaan. Almost a full head for DeHaan over top of Ryder Haight. Left side inbound coming up for Hendrickson along the baseline. 3:59 first quarter. He'll lob one up to DeHaan in rhythm from the key. Can't knock down the quick little shot with the right. It was Strong with the rebound on to Hendrickson. He has it ripped away from him down low by Cam Regnerus, and the Bulldogs started up with Hendrickson. Quinn Hendrickson for the Bulldogs, defended by Cameron Hendrickson on the other side. Right wing, Hendrickson figures it out up top for Haight. Haight down left block for Regnerus. Back on Hendrickson. Left wing three. Will not fall for Quinton. Straight down off the front rim. And the rebound taken down by Calvin Christian. And the control of Carson DeHaan. DeHaan around a screen. Left wing, dribbling with the left. Picks it up inside that left arc and kicks up top for Elderkin. He'll angle right side. Defended by Tyson Mann to the free throw line. Skip pass. Left wing back on DeHaan. Jabs. Angles top of the key. Ryder Haight all over him. Forced to pick up the dribble. Whips it with one hand. Right wing on Elderkin. Jabs left side on to Hendrickson. Defended by Heckman. Left-hand pass down low, and a foul called as they got Haight on the reach, trying to grab inside there on DeHaan. Second foul on the Bulldogs, and the first on Ryder Haight. 14-2 Grandville with 3:10 to go in the first quarter. Elderkin takes a seat. Samir Bethily will check in here for Coach Veltema and Calvin Christian. Baseline left inbound coming up, but again it'll be Cameron Hendrickson, the senior, to trigger this one. Whereas number 32 in white has long white sleeves underneath the uniform and lobs it up top for Benton. Benton handoff right wing to Hahn, fakes a pass, then does kick it to his right side to Bethily. He angles right elbow, picked up his dribble, defended by Mann, swings it right side for Benton. Skip pass, right corner for Hendrickson, holds it high up top. Benton, two-hand feed, left corner Bethily. Dribble drive along the baseline. Offensive foul called. He pushed off on Tyson Mann down low. That'll be his first. That'll be the second on Calvin Christian. The Bulldogs will take over the basketball right here. They'll actually get Boma on the foul. That's his second. So it was off the ball foul on Boma, his second, and the team's second. 14-2. What a start for the Bulldogs in this one. And the Bulldogs check the sophomore Colin Hybor in for the first time in this game on the wing. So they've got a little bit of size in and with him, but they do send Heckman to the bench, so it's kind of a wash. Left block working down low is Regnerus, and a foul called on Carson DeHaan as he was all over him. So first foul on DeHaan, now the third on Calvin Christian, as the senior draws that one. 2:42 first quarter, 14-2 Grandville. Early the lead in this one. Lob pass to the right elbow taken by Quinton Hendrickson. Left corner, all alone, triple try, Hybor, short, and Boma races to the rebound first, and Calvin Christian will control with DeHaan. He wears number 30, swings it over the timeline to Hendrickson. Cameron Hendrickson angles, picks up the dribble free throw line, kicks up with a high pass top of the key for DeHaan. Angles, right hand or a left hand layup off the drive down the right side of the key. Too strong, rebound ripped away by Regnerus and thrown on to Quinton Hendrickson. He'll run the break for the Bulldogs. Curls off top of the key with space, spins into a triple, rattles out. He continues to fight the jumper early on in this season. Hendrickson the rebound for Calvin Christian. Fakes a handoff to Bethily. Takes it right corner, behind the back dribble to stop. Now hands off right wing for Bethily. Angle drive defended by Mann to the key. Cut off, feeds left wing, catch and shoot three. Boma right down the hatch, good. Triple for Calvin Christian, finally gets them on the board again as Paul Boma knocks that one down, the senior. 14-5 Grandville. Hendrickson, handoff Hybor, back in Hendrickson left corner. He'll start the dribble, defended by Boma. Swings up top for Hybor. Two-hand feed right wing for Haight. Thought about passing left and passes right to Mann. Back up top for Haight. Swung around left wing and now left corner for Hybor. Hybor left wing Hendrickson. Final 1:35 of the first. Working around a slow screen. Read well by DeHaan. Fed right wing for Mann. Mann quick pass right corner. Haight drives into the lane. Picks up the dribble. Works the pivot foot and kicks up top for Hendrickson. Bulldogs taking their time. He'll launch a deep through his space. No good front iron. And the rebound taken down by DeHaan and Calvin Christian the ball. 14-5 Grandville. Final 1:18 of the first. DeHaan. Left corner on to Hendrickson. Swung around top of the key, Bethily. With Mann jumping on him defensively. Swings one right corner. Knocked into the stands by Quinton Hendrickson. And some changes coming on for both teams. Hogan will check in along with Elderkin after a break for Calvin Christian. We will see the Bulldogs bring Drew Hungerford on the floor for the first time today. And Logan Stockwell also comes back on here for the Bulldogs. Mann takes a seat and Hendrickson take a seat for Coach Young in Grandville. Right side inbound from the out-of-bounds line. Sam Benton throws it in top of the key to Matthew Elderkin. The junior drives, jump stop, right elbow, hand off to Hogan. Swung with two hands, left wing for Benton. He'll work with the ball, defended by Haight to the free throw line. Curls around, Haight, left-hand floater from the block, good off the window. Really nice move by Sam Benton with his first 2 points of the game. It's a 14-7 ball game. Final 50 seconds, first quarter. Top of the key, Hybor swings it left wing. Stockwell with space, tries a triple, strong off the back iron, race to the rebound, saved by a charging Drew Hungerford, who took out the Gatorade on the side as he tried to fling that ball in bounds. It was ripped out of there by Matthew Elderkin, and Calvin Christian gets the control after all of that. What an effort, though, by Hungerford, bringing his body into it. Elderkin, left elbow, spins and scores with a nice little mid-range jumper over top of Stockwell. So a couple baskets in a row for Calvin Christian. We go inside the final 20 seconds of the first quarter. It's a 14-9 Bulldog lead. Drew Hungerford, the dribble in the basketball. He'll run the point. Defended loosely by Bethily as he holds for the final shot. Left wing for Stockwell, holding the ball high. Stockwell, left corner, Regneris. Backing down to the block. Nice move, faked, right-hand shot, in rhythm, good, over top of Boma. Nice move by Regneris. He's got 11 in the first quarter, and his team has a 16-9 lead after the first quarter of play. A pretty fast-moving game anyway that you hardly even recognize that the shot clock was on at points in that contest. Both teams will make some changes right here, and we'll get the second quarter underway in just a few moments. The Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame celebrates the city's rich sports history by honoring prominent West Michigan athletes and those who have contributed greatly to sports on a local, state, or national level. The GRS HOF also presents annual events in support of West Michigan athletics and raises funds to support local youth organizations and charities. Follow the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame on Facebook and check out pictures and biographies of all 181 inductees at grshof.com. First game of the day from the invite here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. 16-9, Grandville leads Grandville Calvin Christian after the first frame of play. The Squires got a couple back at the very end of the quarter after the completely shutting down Grandville defense did their thing that we've seen them so effectively do in the first game and really for the last season since Coach Young took over early in that one. But some of the skills, some of the size on the wing for Calvin Christian, able to find some shots. Matthew Elderkin in particular, really tough little pull-up jumper in the lane that he was able to knock down on a spin-around move. And we'll get ready for the second quarter. Grandville, the traveling maroon uniforms, home whites for Calvin Christian, and the Squires get the ball to start the second frame of play. They move right to left across the radio dial, and Carson DeHaan, their big senior 6'4" wing, will keep the possession to start. Dumps it down with two hands, right elbow to Elderkin. Back onto DeHaan, left wing, but it's out of his reach on an errant pass into the Grandville bench, and the Bulldogs take over here. First 10 seconds gone of the second quarter. It's 16-9 Grandville. Highbore will throw it in, and Drew Hungerford will run the point for the Bulldogs. He wears number 4 in maroon, short maroon sleeves underneath that maroon uniform. He'll stop right wing, hands off top of the key for Haight, who swings it left wing to Stockwell. Looking for a passing lane, left corner, looking for Hungerford. Deflected out of bounds by Elderkin into the stands. Grandville keeps it. 7:38 in the second. And a 16-9 Bulldog lead. 21 seconds on the shot clock. Keep in mind that 35-second shot clock today, really the biggest part of this contest. Hungerford angles right side, throws a wild pass, I think kind of slips off his hands away from Highbore left corner, and it'll go back the other way here with Calvin Christian again. 16-9 with 30 seconds gone in the second frame of play. Near side of the floor, right to left, Jack Gemma, the senior, runs the offense for the first time. Swings left side to DeHaan. DeHaan defended by Stockwell. Arms spread wide up top for Elderkin. Elderkin, one dribble, throws it back left side to Gemma. He's got Ryder Haight on him. Angles to the left block, right-hand shot, in rhythm, will not go. Rebound in the second effort, secured and ripped out of there by Ryder Haight. He'll run the Bulldog offense, weaving through the defense. Both teams running quarter-court man attacks on the defensive end of the floor. Haight bounces into the lane, throws a pass back the other way, stolen by Gemma. Gemma running the break onto DeHaan. DeHaan's scoop shot short off the front of the rim, goes out of bounds, and the Bulldogs take back over. They had numbers, but DeHaan just unable to score right there. It's kind of been a struggle for DeHaan, only 2 points early on in this one. Only 9 for his team, 16-9 Grandville. Under 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Right corner, Ryder Haight with the ball, defended tightly by Gemma. Kicks up right wing for Hungerford. Hungerford angles right corner, handoff for Haight. Haight up top to a leaping Heckman. Heckman keeping the dribble. Two-hand skip feed left wing for Stockwell. Back up top with two hands to Hungerford. He'll bounce around a screen, and an offensive foul is going to be called. They'll get Corbin Heckman there on the illegal screen. Cam Regneris, Tyson Mann for short breaks will come in to start their second quarter of play. Highbore and Ryder Haight will each take a seat right here for the Bulldogs. That foul, the first on Heckman and the third on the Bulldogs. 3 on either team right now with 6:37 in the second quarter. 16-9 the Bulldog advantage. Elderkin throws in to Gemma, and the senior will run the break here. Slowly up the floor, the left-hand dribble. He'll be met left wing defensively by a crouched Drew Hungerford. Right-hand dribble to the top of the key, swings with it to the right elbow. Into the lane, reverse, no-look pass, looking for Boma. Out of his reach, and Grandville takes over as that one skips nearly down the tunnel, out of bounds. 16-9 Grandville. 6:22 second quarter. The Bulldog pressure certainly been up in this one. Drew Hungerford runs the offense for the Bulldogs one more time. Defended by Hendrickson, top of the key. Two-hand feed left wing for Heckman. Thought about the triple. Feeds up top for Stockwell. Jabs, angles into the lane. Jump stop. Lost the ball down low. Last touched out of bounds off of Boma and Calvin Christian into the Squire student section. And the Bulldogs keep it. Baseline right on the inbound right here. Tyson Mann wearing 0 in maroon will throw this one in for the Bulldogs. 6:07 second quarter and a 16-9 Grandville lead. Man to trigger. Pounds the rock. Looking for the lane. Got it right corner on to Hungerford. Up top, Stockwell, right corner, catch and shoot three, in rhythm, man, too short off the front rim, and an extended arm rebound came down to DeHaan. He'll throw it on to Ajema, who kicks it quickly over the timeline to a sprinting Hendrickson. Back up top, Ajema, swung right wing to DeHaan, right corner, Elderkin, up top, curling Ajema at the right elbow. To the corner for Hendrickson, who'll back it out, defended by Heckman here, drives right baseline, floater, able to go. Regneris tried to get his hand in there, but a good move by Hendrickson, able to float in over top of him. 16-9, the Bulldog advantage now of 5.5 in the first. Right baseline drive from Hungerford, whips a pass to the left wing that's stolen away by Elderkin. He'll run the break all on his own, reverse layup, no good at the basket. The defense there from Stockwell. Stockwell grabs the boards, but just dragged his right foot on the out-of-bounds line. Calvin Christian keeps it down low. Calvin Christian checks James Daniels back in for their side. Quentin Hendrickson comes back in here for the Bulldogs as Hungerford and Boma take a seat for their respective teams. Ajema to throw it in, left side of the key, along the baseline in front of the Grandville student section. He'll lob one up top for Elderkin, who secures it in front of the timeline, defended by Tyson Mann, drives right side of the lane into a double team, picks up the dribble there, and it's stolen away by Heckman, able to get the hand in there. Got some help from Quentin Hendrickson, who rips the ball free and takes it down the floor. Reverse little handoff left wing on to Tyson Mann. Mann picks up the dribble, skips it left block to Regneris. He'll go to work on Daniels, picks up the double team, throws it right corner, extra pass, right wing on for Stockwell. Jab, spins inside, offensive foul is called. Carson DeHaan put a little bit of English in that one to make sure he drew that foul. It is going to be an offensive foul, and it will go back the other way here with Calvin Christian off the second foul of the game on Stockwell. Fourth on the Bulldogs, 4:58 second quarter, 16-11 Grandville. Bulldogs bring Summers in here for the first time in the game, as it will be Stockwell off that second foul taking a seat. Typically, Coach Young is of the strategy to sit a guy for the remainder of the first half of play once he gets that second foul. We saw that yesterday with Tyson Mann early in that game against Wyoming. Ajema with the ball, throws it left side to Elderkin in the wing, loosely watched defensively by Tyson Mann. Hands off on the curl and sets a screen after that. Elderkin does for DeHaan. DeHaan with the right-hand dribble, defended by Summers to the free throw line. Angles in, jump stop, leaning left-hand layup, catches the back end of the rim and falls. Nice shot by DeHaan. He's got 4, and Calvin Christian within a score for the first time since it was a one-score game at the very beginning of the game, 16-13. Tyson Mann, top of the key, facing up a couple of defenders, throws it right corner for Summers. Summers starts the dribble, picks it up, tightly watched in the corner by Elderkin. He'll throw on right wing for Heckman. He'll swing up top, Hendrickson, left corner, Tyson Mann. Mann angles free throw line, pull-up jumper at the elbow, short, straight down off the front rim, rebound Elderkin. Calvin Christian can tie on this possession with a triple. Elderkin, top of the key, drives to the lane, able to whip the hands free, two-hand layup short, rebound ripped down out of there by Tyson Mann. He'll run it for the Bulldogs. 4:02 second quarter, 16-13 Grandville. Mann all the way down the floor, lost it wildly down low. Last touched out of bounds by Calvin Christian. Nope, last touched it will be ruled to be out of bounds on the second call against the Bulldogs and Mann, and Calvin Christian takes the basketball here. Coaches Young and Coach Veltema both getting their words in right here as Ajema takes up the floor, the senior, to run the offense, number 10 in white for Calvin Christian. 16-13 is the Squire lead early, 3:48 in the second quarter. There's the Bulldog lead, I should say. Up top for Daniels. Daniels skips down right block for DeHaan. DeHaan lost the handle, and along the baseline, it's stolen away by Heckman, who comes away with another basketball there. Got on to Hendrickson. Nice behind the back dribble. Blows over the timeline, defended by Ajema. Left corner for Summers. Dumps it down low for Regneris. Poked out of there. Came on to Summers. Jump stop, right corner Heckman. Up fake. Lost the handles. He tried to pass it top of the key. DeHaan the straight steal. DeHaan spins top of the key. Hands off for Daniels. He'll drive to the basket. Leaning right hand layup off the right side of the glass. No good. Out of a scrum. Tyson Mann the rebound, and the Bulldogs the basketball. 3:12 second quarter, 16-13 Grandville. Tyson Mann will slow it down right here with the right-hand dribble. Mann defended by Ajema into the wing. He'll take a right corner of the ball. Picks up the dribble. Throws top of the key for Quentin Hendrickson. Inside 3 minutes, second quarter. Hendrickson hand off Tyson Mann. Mann left wing for Summers. Summers left corner onto a curling Hendrickson. Hendrickson works around a screen. Dumps it left corner. Heckman with space. Up fake. And a foul is called on the floor. Looks like they're going to get DeHaan as he was grabbing on Regneris. That's the team's fourth foul and the second on Carson DeHaan. Hendrickson and Benton check back in here for Calvin Christian as Jace Hogan goes to the bench, and Carson DeHaan also will take a seat for the first time for Coach Veltema. Face to the 16-13 lead. 2:48 in a fast-moving second quarter. Of course, that shot clock on. 35 seconds fresh after the foul. Right side on to Summers. Dumps down low for Regneris. Able to steal it away from a couple of Squires out of the scrum. Turns the head. Turns the body. Right-hand floater off the window. Good. Nice move down low by Cam Regneris. He's got 13 right now in this game. And the Bulldogs have a 5-point lead. Right wing. Angle drive from Elderkin. Pull-up jumper. Pure. In rhythm. He can knock those down. Angling from the wing. He's got 4 now off that pull-up. It's an 18-15 back down to a 3-point game. Heckman left wing for the Bulldogs. Feeds left corner for Tyson Mann. Mann dumps down low for Regneris. He'll spin away from the first defender. Fling up a wild two-hand shot that's blocked through a foul by Sam Benton. And that will send Cam Regneris to the line. And he will shoot 2. 4 fouls on either team right here. 18-15. First come up for Regneris. Rattles that one out. Had some issues yesterday. Boma will check back in here for the Squires. Daniels will take a seat. So one more coming up here for Regneris. 13 points right now. 13 of his team's 18 for Cam Regneris. Bends knees, right-hand free throw. Rattles home. It looks short at first, but able to get the friendly touch. He's got 14 of his team's 19 now, and it's 19-15 Grandville. 2:09 in the second quarter. Ajema drives left side of the lane. Kicks out left wing here for Elderkin, able to somehow keep the dribble through a pair of defenders. Angles to the basket. Floater short. Rebound to Heckman. Played up the left side of the floor by the Bulldogs and Quentin Hendrickson. Final 2 minutes into the corner for Regneris. Spins to the basket. Right-hand shot. Good, and a foul. Screams out after that one as well. A little bit of a flex. What a move by Cam Regneris. He's got 16 of 21, and he'll go to the line for one more right here. What an effort driving from the wing. Ryder Haight checks in for the Bulldogs, and James Daniels checks in for Calvin Christian. Summers takes a seat for the Dogs, and Boma takes a quick seat for Calvin Christian. Regneris, free throw. Too strong, can't complete the three-point play. Elderkin the rebound, over the timeline here to Ajema. Final 1:48 of the second. Ajema right elbow the basketball. Pull-up shot, free throw line, strong. Rebound ripped down by Corbin Heckman. He'll play it on to Quentin Hendrickson up the middle of the floor. Bulldogs by 6. Down low, Heckman, power dribble, right-hand shot. Got the friendly touch and rattles home. Heckman on the board for the Bulldogs, 23-15. Good run here by the Bulldogs bigs, helping control this game. Ajema around a hard screen, picks up the dribble, left block, kicks it up top for Elderkin, swung right wing for Cameron Hendrickson. He's defended by Heckman. Hendrickson crosses down the right side, floater blocked away into the student section by Cam Regneris. High arcing floater, he got it at the top of its reach and able to knock it into the Bulldogs student section. 1:13, second quarter, 23-15 Grandville. Baseline right, inbound coming up here for Ajema. He'll lob one to the right elbow for Daniels, back into the corner for Ajema. Works around a screen with this one. Defended here by Ryder Haight to the free throw line. Got by Haight. Scoop shot. Too strong. Rebound. Fought for on the floor. Daniels comes out of it. In rhythm floater. Good off the window. Calvin Christian back on the board. 23-17. Final minute, second quarter. Already almost halftime in this one. Hendrickson the basketball for the Bulldogs. Lobs one to the left elbow for Regneris. Knocked out of there and kicked out of bounds by Benton. It'll stay with the Bulldogs. Left side of the front court, the inbound this one. 23-17 Grandville. Grinding, tough game, as you typically expect the Bulldogs to play. Handoff for Heckman. Swung right wing Ryder Haight into the corner for Hendrickson. Reaches around a defender. Down right block to Regneris. He'll turn free and score off the glass. 18 for Cam Regneris. And the Bulldogs have a 25-17 lead. What a game by Cam in this one. Gemma will run things slowly right here for Calvin Christian. Defended by Ryder Haight. Fast-moving second quarter. No stops, no timeouts, no anything in this one. Final 16 seconds. Gemma backing out, holding for the final shot. Ryder Haight staying on him as they stand on the Calvin University logo at center floor. Gemma crosses. Throws with two hands to the left block. Some miscommunication, goes off the face of James Daniels and bounces into the Grandville student section. 5.4. The Bulldogs will get the final shot here. Thrown into man, split a pair of defenders and a foul called. That's the team's 7th. That will send Tyson Mann to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. We'll see who they get there. A pair of defenders reaching in on him. and they will get Hendrickson with his first. So a 1-and-1 at the line for Tyson Mann. Coach Veltman not thrilled with his team right there on that reach. 3.7 on the second quarter clock, 25-17 lead. If Mann hits them both, he can give his team a 10-point lead as we head into the second half. DeHaan will check in here for Daniels. I took that ball off the face a moment ago. So Tyson Mann at the line, bends the knees, spins the ball, forces it up with the right hand, rattles that one out. The rebound down to DeHaan. Final 2 seconds, on to Ajema. He'll fling up a half-court shot. That one misses everything wide to the right side. And we have reached halftime, 25-17. Grandville's defense completely swarming as you would expect. The offense led by Cam Ragnaris, who puts up 18 in the first half of play. And we welcome you back inside Van Noord Arena. Nate Dreyer with you here from Calvin University. What a first game of the invite so far. The Bulldogs continuing their strong performance last night from Wyoming as they go ahead and lead this one by 8 at the halftime break. So a lot more to get to in this one. What a performance by Cam Ragnaris, leading the way in the first game of the day here at Calvin. We'll be right back here as we'll have more with our Centennial Securities halftime show.
It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
and it was covered thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Michigan Sports Academies offers quality youth sports in Grand Rapids, Holland, and Muskegon. With a wide variety of programming, MSA has something for new athletes who are just starting out to experienced athletes looking to take their game to the next level. Year-round programming is offered in basketball, lacrosse, soccer, and volleyball. Your athlete will love the quality of instruction from experienced coaches and state-of-the-art facilities conveniently located in Grand Rapids and along the lakeshore. Check us out at MichiganSportsAcademies.com.
Don't just find yourself, make yourself. Start businesses, build bridges, save lives, raise a whole city. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
Bowling. Compete against your friends or family, throwing a football at 10 real bowling pins. You can bring in your own food, or they have a pair of 45-foot bars featuring soft drinks and adult beverages. Visit foldingwarehouse.com, Grand Rapids, to reserve your lanes.
Founded in 1969, J&H Family Stores has grown from a single tank truck to over 50 convenience store locations in West Michigan. Our locations offer a variety of fuel options ranging from Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, and Citgo. At many of our stores, you'll also be pleased to find a Tim Hortons or Subway. Find the location near you by visiting myjhfamilystores.com. There's one in your neighborhood.
And welcome back to the Centennial Securities Halftime Show. Nate Dreyer with you here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Grandville leading 25-17 over Calvin Christian at the half of this one. Cam Ragnaris leads the Bulldogs and leads all scores with 18 big points in this one. Tyson Mann hit a triple early for the Bulldogs. Three more came in from two more came in from Stockwell, and then two also from Corbin Heckman for the Bulldogs. Paul Boma with 3 for Calvin Christian. James Daniels had a couple. Matthew Elderkin, Carson DeHaan lead them each with 4 in scoring. Hendrickson has 2. Benton has 2. So they've been a little bit more balanced in their scoring. But Cam Ragnaris, what a start to his junior season. 14 points last night, I should say, in that win. And you could tell, though, that there were some more shots that normally fall for him that just weren't falling yet. Well, they are falling tonight. A big time effort from Cam Ragnaris. He has 18. The Bulldog Jr., what a first half as he really controlled things. Even as they started doubling, even tripling him in the post, it really didn't matter as he's able to fight through and find the scoring. So Regnerus, a big one in this contest right now as he continues to roll at the start of his junior season. The Bulldogs also continue to roll. We'll see if they can hang on to this 8-point lead. Have been a tough grinding game as you expect them to play. There's no better team maybe defensively. I mean, I'm willing to say it almost in the area than what the Grandville Bulldogs early in this season have been playing for Coach Young. So this terrific Bulldog defense continues to roll early in the year as they look to go 2-0 if they can hang on to this nearly 10-point advantage at the half. But for Coach Veltemo and Calvin Christian, time for the big adjustments as they try to avoid losing on back-to-back nights after they fell to Unity Christian 67-59 last night. They would then fall to 1-2 on the year, or they can get a come from behind win. We'll see what they can do. We know the talent they have. You know, DeHaan, Elderkin have already shown their ability to score in the lane and some of the things that they are able to do, and that certainly is what we'll be watching. Forest Hill Central, Kenowa Hills up next. The Rangers are out warming up at halftime of this game, and they'll certainly have a fun one that will be coming up after this one here from Van Noord Arena. Still a lot to get to in this one. Nate Dreyer with you here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. Chandler Timmer, of course, will again join me later. Should be here for the start of the second game, but still a lot coming up in this one. Grandville, Calvin Christian, just a little under 5 minutes on the halftime clock until we get this one back underway. We'll be right back here on the Centennial Securities Halftime Show.
Americas. The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car.
Hey, my car!
And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Need to replace that worn-out carpet or floor? Floor Coverings International makes it easy. They bring their mobile showroom to you. Save yourself the trip and gas shopping around. See a wide selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the lighting of your own home. Go to floorcoveringsinternational.com today for your free consultation. Work with one team for a hassle-free experience from the quote to installation. And each Floor Coverings International business is independently owned and operated, so they are local business owners in our community. Floor Coverings International, the flooring store at your door.
Are you looking for a new career? Aetna Supply is hiring. Aetna Supply is Michigan's #1 plumber wholesaler, servicing local customers for over 50 years. They offer great benefits, a 401k with company match, quarterly bonuses, and no Sundays. Once again, check them out at aetnasupply.com/careers or click on their logo on the Michigan Sports Radio homepage.
Can you name the 10 winners of the Nobel Peace Prize or the last 5 Miss Americas? The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car.
Hey, my car!
And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Centennial Series halftime show here from Van Noord Arena. Both teams out as we got about a minute to go, finishing up their warm-ups before we get the second half of play underway from this one. What a start in the first half for the Bulldogs, defensively and especially offensively from Cam Regneris. He goes for 18, and the Bulldogs only give up 17. So Cam Regneris 18, Calvin Christian 17 at the break in this one. A terrific start to the junior in this contest. We'll see what he's able to do in the second half of this one, as the Bulldogs will maybe look to find a little bit more balance in the scoring, but right now it doesn't really matter with what Regneris has been able to do for Calvin Christian. Coach Veltema, they're trying to get the big guys going. Dahan, Elderkin each just have 4 in the first half of play, and we'll see if they're able to get things going a little bit more against this Bulldog attack that's been grinding. One thing you can't do against the Bulldogs typically is be able to slash and drive and get open looks out of that. You have to make the tough shots, or you have to try to knock down a deep triple. They haven't really attempted the deep triples. They don't have the size inside to match up with a back-to-the-basket sort of attack against Cam Regneris, so they've been forced to angle those drives, and this physical Bulldog man defense has been all over him in this game. It's been a really tough physical basketball game. That'll wrap up our Centennial Securities halftime show, and it is just about time to go here with the second half of our first game of the day from the Invite. FHC, Kenowa Hills, South Christian, Northview, the next 2 games on MGN, and then also Michigan Sports Radio with Grand Rapids Catholic Central, as well as Rockford to finish the day. Of course, Michigan Sports Radio, your home for the entire Cornerstone Holiday Tournament, as well as this year's 2K23 showcase events. Brandon Guyton and the former Red Hawks showcase events that we've had here on, especially Michigan Game Night. Last year, we had a lot of, actually all of those contests. Last year, we're at Cornerstone, and the showcase will be returning to Michigan Game Night and Michigan Sports Radio this season. Those events coming up in the end of January, beginning of February, and of course, the holiday tournament over the next couple weeks. Game Night will be there with a couple of contests as well. The Bulldogs open with the basketball in those maroon uniforms to start up the second half of play. Man dumps it down low to Regneris, knocked out of bounds by the Squires. The Bulldogs keep it. Home white uniforms for Calvin Christian, and immediately James Daniels, who started on the bench, will come in for Paul Boma right here for the Squires. Tyson Mann gets ready to trigger it with a 25-18 lead, just a little under 10 seconds off this second quarter clock right here. Mann to throw it in from the corner, lobs up right wing, and secured by Hendrickson. Back right corner for Tyson Mann. Mann up top, Hendrickson swung left wing for Heckman, who'll get it left corner. Catch and shoot 3 on for Stockwell. Misses strong. Gemma, who started the game on the bench, will start the game on the floor in the second quarter or second half of play. Hands off left wing for the charging Carson Dahan. He'll launch a triple, misses it well short of the rim, and the Bulldogs the rebound. 7.5 to go, third quarter. Bulldogs lead 25-17. Down left block to Regneris. He'll give the shoulder. He'll work inside. They bring the double. He dives on the floor as the ball's knocked out of bounds. They'll say it was last touched by Regneris, and Calvin Christian will take over here. 7:24, third quarter. Gemma will take the basketball up here, and the Bulldogs set up their half-court man defense. He'll get Hendrickson on him defensively. Swung onto the driving Elderkin, takes it to the basket. Reverse layup, short rebound, knocked out of bounds. Last touched by the Squires. Grandville basketball. 7:15, third quarter, 25-17 Grandville. No scoring yet in this second half of play. Calvin Christian will bring some full court pressure on right here against the Bulldogs. Inbounded to Stockwell. They set up a 2-2-1 press right here. Right side for Heckman, back on the man, still in the backcourt, swings it with 2 hands over the timeline to Stockwell. Tries to hit Hendrickson, knocked away by Hendrickson on the other side. That's Cameron Hendrickson, giving on to Elderkin. He'll fly down the left side of the floor, reverse layup, good, off the window. So Elderkin now with 6 and Calvin Christian down 25-19. They bring that trap back out. 2-hand pass, Heckman over the timeline, jump stolen away by Daniels. Another turnover. Daniels, jump pass, looking to throw it to the left corner for Elderkin. It was tipped on its way, came on to Elderkin, drives in the lane, floater short, fight for the rebound, on to Daniels, right-hand shot, good. Daniels off the board, able to score here, and again, the 2-2-1 trap will be set up. Stockwell swings back to Mann, right side. Heckman back on to Mann, still in the backcourt. He'll face up against the trap and blow over the timeline. Jump pass right side for Heckman. Heckman top of the key, Tyson Mann. Mann drives, right-hand layup off the right side of the rim, no good. Rebound Cameron Hendrickson. He'll run with it. 6:17 to go, third quarter. Thrown on to Elderkin. Stops left block, gave it left corner for Carson Dahan. He'll go between the legs, defended by Tyson Mann. Crosses in, tough shot, defended by Mann, blocked away. Rebound on to Regneris, and now Hendrickson, as the defense pulls off, will take it. 6:02, third quarter. Hendrickson will slow down the attack, 25-21. Hendrickson, right side, hard pass, left corner, all alone. Stockwell, triple try. No good off the connector. Rebounded to Hahn. Bulldogs can't buy a shot early. Their lead down to 4 in this third quarter. Dahan Left block, curls around to the baseline, underhand feed onto Daniels, in rhythm floater, pure. Daniels suddenly with 6, he's got the last 4 of the game. It's 25-23, the 2-2-1 trap back out. Hackman left side on for Stockwell, back on to Hackman. And a 10-second violation on the Bulldogs. They don't get it over on time, and Calvin Christian forces a 3rd turnover since they've brought this 2-2-1 trap in. The Bulldogs really struggling with the trapping pressure. Of course, they saw the full court havoc pressure last night, and now the trap giving them a little bit of issues with another turnover. 5.5 to go, 3rd quarter. Calvin Christian can tie or take the lead here. Ajema reaches around a defender, right block for DeHaan. Back onto Ajema, left wing. Drives baseline, picks up the dribble. Fading shot over top of Regneris, short. Rebound grab by Daniels, put back short. And the fight for the ball down low will be tipped out of bounds. And also a foul called as it is against Calvin Christian. Grandville gets the basketball. First foul of the half, and the first foul of the game on Daniels. 2-2-1 trap set back up. Inbounded to Hackman, back onto Tyson Mann. Mann left side throws a lazy pass that's stolen away by Cameron Hendrickson. Takes it down along the baseline. He's fouled by Tyson. And Calvin Christian will get a right side inbound underneath the hoop here. 5:08, 3rd quarter. 1 foul on either team. That's the first foul on Tyson Mann. And that's the 4th turnover for the Bulldogs in the second half against the trap. Leaping lobbed rebound, right block onto DeHaan. He'll turn the shoulder on Stockwell and score off the glass. DeHaan with 6, and the game is tied at 25. Mann left side for Hackman. Hackman back onto Mann. He'll beat the pressure over the timeline. Reaching pass down to Stockwell. Drives baseline. Eurostep floater off the glass and good. Nice move, Logan Stockwell. He's got 4. The Bulldogs have the lead back 27-25. Left side, DeHaan launches a triple, short front rim. Race to the rebound, top of the key. Ajema's got it. He'll angle in, left elbow, pull-up shot, pure. What a move. What a shot. Jack Ajema in rhythm, knocks it down. We're tied at 27 again. 2-2-1 trap back on. Hackman reaches behind himself and throws on to Tyson Mann. Mann jump pass over the timeline to Heckman. Top of the key of the 2-hand feed to Hendrickson. Cleared out to Tyson Mann. Mann swings left side, Hendrickson, left corner, Heckman. Down low for the big guy, Regneris. Turns the back against a double team. Up top for Mann. Jump fake, drives into the lane, floater through traffic, strong, rebound, batted out, and the Bulldogs keep possession up top with Heckman. Swung right wing, Stockwell launches a 3. Too strong, rebound to the free throw line and a leaping Regneris. Spins, left-hand layup, good. Got the friendly roll. 20 for Regneris, and the Bulldogs back on top, 29-27. Inside 4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. DeHaan bounces around a left wing screen, drives, floater off the side of the backboard, no good. Rebound to Regneris. Physical game right now. Up the right side of the floor, Quentin Hendrickson throws on to Stockwell with some space. Angles into the lane. Stockwell fading shot, short, grabs his own rebound, put back short, foul called. Good work by Logan Stockwell on the fight down low. He'll get 2 coming up at the line right here. 3:39, 3rd quarter. That foul is the first on Jace Hogan, 2nd on the team of the half. 29-27 as Stockwell looks to add 1 or 2 more at the line right here. Stockwell dribbles, first shot, rattles out, no good. And we'll see a host of changes. 3 new players, including Elderkin, Benton, will come on the floor for Calvin Christian right here. Boma also checks back in for Coach Veltema. Stockwell, 1 more at the line. He's got 4. Pure on that one. He's got 5. Ryder Haight will check in for Stockwell, and the Bulldogs take a 3-point lead, 30-27. Ajema again to run the point, knocked down that nice mid-range pull-up J a few moments ago. And he'll call out some directions with the left hand as he dribbles on the right. 2-hand feed left wing for the lanky wing, Elderkin. Handoff for Benton, left corner. He'll dribble top of the key. Poked out of there by Hendrickson, but settled down right wing by Hogan. Hogan, handoff, curling Ajema, top of the key. Launches a 3, over top of Regneris, tipped away. Boma the rebound, foul on the floor on the Bulldogs. Haight does not like that call. Actually, Haight is talking a little bit to Corbin Heckman about that play and that push that he put on there. 2nd foul of the half on the Bulldogs. And they're going to actually get Hendrickson with his first foul of the ball game. Ajema skips it right block to Elderkin. He'll give the shoulder to Mann. Spin, jump pass onto the curling attacker Boma. And Boma in rhythm puts it in off the window. Good. He's got 5 points. It's a 1-point game. 2-2-1 trap back on. Thrown over the timeline to Tyson Mann. Man, skip past left side rider. Haight stolen by Elderkin, taken back away by Haight. Left corner, Regnerus with a little bit of time. Launches a three, fouled as it misses everything short. And three coming up at the line for Cam Regnerus. He's already got 20, and his team has that 1 point lead that they're clinging to, 30-29, with 3:01 in the third. Foul is the first on Elderkin and the third on the team for the Squires. First for Regnerus, pure. He's got 21. Samir Bathili will check in for Calvin Christian here in just a moment. Two more for Regnerus. Second free throw rattles out, little short, didn't get the friendly touch. Continues to kind of struggle at the line early in the year, Cam Regnerus. Chase Hogan checks out as Bathili checks in. 3:01 third quarter. Bulldogs by 2. We'll see if Regnerus can make it 3. Shooting into his own student section. Bends the knees. Right hand free throw. Pure. Right down the hatch. Knocked that one down. 22 now for Regnerus in this game. Ajema left side. Final 2:55. Gave it on a kind of wild pass that Elderkin settles down. Hand off top of the key to a bouncing Bathili. Bathili gave it on Benton left wing. Benton angles top of the key. Hand off there in the right wing for Ajema. Ajema will back it out top of the key. Drives down the right side. Skip past Benton. In rhythm. Right hand floater. Off the window. Good. 2:35 third quarter. Calvin Christian back within 1. Hendrickson throws over the timeline to Tyson Mann. Mann will pick up the dribble. Mann lobs up Hendrickson. Hendrickson jump pass, left block on to Regnerus. He'll turn through 2 defenders. Right hand shot, short foul called. I think they'll get Benton on that one. Hard take, and Regnerus goes back to the line. 2:18 third quarter, second foul on Benton, fourth on the Squires. 1 point lead for the Bulldogs, 32-31. Shot Regnerus short. DeHaan and Daniels each check back in here. One more coming up for Cam Regnerus. Bends the knees, flicks it up, scores. Able to go 1 of 2 at the line right there. He has 23. A gem up the left side of the floor, throws over the timeline for DeHaan. He'll angle into the lane. Turns the back on Ryder. Haight fader jumper. Good. What a move. Carson DeHaan with 7, and Calvin Christian squares the game at 33. They bring the trap on. Ryder Haight back to Hendrickson. Skip pass over the timeline to Haight. Gave on a Tyson Mann. Through some pressure. Foul called. I think they'll get Elderkin reaching in behind him. That'll be the 5th team foul regardless. They'll actually get a Gemma on that foul. That's his first. 1:59 third quarter. Bathili checks out as Hendrickson checks back in for Calvin Christian. Baseline left inbound coming up for the Bulldogs. It'll be Hendrickson to trigger here. Where's number 2 in his traveling maroon uniform for the Bulldogs? Tied at 33. Lobs it. Miscommunication away from Tyson Mann. Out of bounds. Calvin Christian basketball. Bulldog coaching staff cheering on their defense right here, trying to get them ready to make a stop. Tied at 33. Final 1:53 of the third. Calvin Christian slowing it down to the Gemma up top. Defended by Ryder Haight. Pull-up shot, left elbow. Too short, leaping rebound. Secured by Regnerus, then rolls through his hands. Tipped out of bounds by Hendrickson will be the call, and the Bulldogs will take the basketball. They will take the basketball here. It's kind of a 50-50 call right there. And the Bulldogs to throw it in against the trap. Hendrickson, near side, right to left, gave it on to Ryder Haight. Haight splits the pressure. He'll blow over the timeline to the right-hand dribble. Crosses up the left side, picks up the dribble against a double team on to Hendrickson. Hendrickson drives, jump pass, left block. Regnerus, touch pass, left corner, Ryder Haight, triple try, off the connector, no good. Leaping rebound, down to Ajema. He'll run the break. Left block over to Hendrickson. He'll back it out behind the arc. Throws up top behind Boma. Goes into the backcourt. That's a turnover. And the Bulldogs will take the ball in their own front court right here. Miscommunication as Ajema was going right, not left, as the passer Hendrickson thought. And Grandville will get it on the left side in front of their own bench right here in the front court. Benton checks back in for Coach Veltema. Elderkin will take a seat. 33-33, 119 third quarter. Up top for Hendrickson. Quinn Hendrickson throws it 2 hands looking for Cam Regnerus. That one out of bounds. And it's going to be Calvin Christian basketball. There was a discussion of officials who it was tipped out by. Regnerus does not like the call. Regnerus may even wanting a foul call right there. Won't get it. And Calvin Christian in a tie game has a chance to take the lead back one more time right here. Daniels in the wing. Curls top of the key. Watched loosely by Regnerus. Skips it right corner. Benton knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Hendrickson into the Calvin bench. Elderkin, Stockwell check in for the respective teams. Ryder Haight takes a seat. Cameron Hendrickson takes a seat. 1:04 third quarter, tied at 33. Grandville, Calvin Christian, right side inbound in the front court. Cameron Hendrickson to throw it in. He'll pound the rock. Watched in his face by Heckman. Throws top of the key for Daniels. Daniels drives, fakes a shot, angles in, reverse layup, too strong. Rebound ripped down by Stockwell. He'll run with it. Stockwell in the trap in the backcourt tries to fling one along, and a kicked ball violation is called as he rolled a pass on. I think they'll get Dahan on the kick right there. Bulldogs will inbound right side in the backcourt. 55.4 third quarter, tied at 33. Quentin Hendrickson will slow it down right to left over the timeline here for the Bulldogs. Final 50 seconds of the third. Goes right, lost the handle as he drove back left, able to regain the basketball. Angle down to the right block, throws it right corner, catch and shoot three. Heckman, high arcing shot, short, leaping, aggressive rebound taken by Dahan, thrown over the timeline to a sprinting Gemma. He'll hand off right side, catch and shoot three. Hendrickson, that one short, rebound on the second effort taken by Tyson Mann. Final 30 seconds, he'll run over the timeline and throw one hand pass on to Stockwell. Stockwell blows his way to the lane. Offensive foul was called. He gave the shoulder. Dahan takes the charge. Calvin Christian basketball. Third foul on the Bulldogs, and that is foul number 3 as well on Logan Stockwell. Dahan holding his lower back a little bit as well. That was an aggressive charge that he took right there, as Jace Hogan will check in and James Daniels will take a seat. Stockwell back to the Bulldog bench. Haight on the floor. Final 17 seconds of the third, 33-33. Gemma clears out. He'll hold for the final shot. Defended by Ryder Haight. Works around a screen. Gemma with some space. Drives. Floater over top of Regnerus. Strong. Rebound on to Hendrickson in rhythm. Shot on the putback will not go. It rolls out, and that also ends the third quarter of play. Tied at 33. I know you're not going anywhere, but do not go anywhere. Going to be a thrilling finish to this one. Grandville, Calvin Christian, the crosstown rivals, tied as we head to the final frame. We'll be right back here from Van Noord Arena.
Looking for a great place to buy a used truck or car? Check out Extreme Truck and Auto Center, located at 1098 O'Malley Drive in Coopersville. They have a huge selection of trucks, cars, vans, and SUVs. Stop by their lot or give them a call at 616-384-3777. You can check out their inventory at xtacenter.com.
And welcome back here to Van Noord Arena. Nate Dreyer with you. Final frame of this one coming up, 33-33. After 3, Grandville, Calvin Christian getting ready for the final frame of play in this one. Aggressive game. Calvin Christian able to completely erase an 8-point halftime deficit in that hard-fought third quarter, mostly able to do so while utilizing a 2-2-1 trap that they got 4 turnovers forced out of. And the Squires do get the ball to start the final frame of play. They're in the home white uniforms, traveling maroons for the Bulldogs here on the floor at Calvin University's Van Noord Arena. Here we go. Gemma swings left wing to Elderkin. Hand back off here for Gemma, top of the key. With one hand, swings it to Boma, right wing. He'll kick it right corner on to Elderkin. Elderkin, angle drive, defended by Tyson Mann. Poked out of the right block on the floor. To a side scrum for the basketball. Held ball is called. Alternating possession goes Grandville's way, and the Bulldogs will take over for the first possession of their fourth quarter. The Squires will set up that 2-2-1 trap, though. Inbounded near side to Heckman, slung back on to Hendrickson, on to Stockwell, back on to Hendrickson up the middle of the floor. The pressure pulls off. He'll angle over the timeline with the basketball into a trap. Hendrickson throws it with 2 hands to Heckman. Heckman down low, all alone. Regnerus skies, jams with 2 hands. 35-33 Bulldogs. 25 for Regnerus and his team a 2-point lead. Elderkin kicks it left wing. Catch and shoot 3. Dahan for the lead. Pure. Calvin Christian finally finds a lead, 36-35. Early fourth quarter, the Bulldogs beat the pressure over the timeline to Stockwell. Stockwell throws across the floor, left corner to Heckman. Thought about the wide open triple, who instead work it around right wing for Mann. Lobs it down low, skying, Regneris jams it again. 27 for Regneris, hung on the rim a little bit at the end of that one as well. He'll jam it, and the Bulldogs take a 1-point lead, 37-36, 6:45 in the fourth. Right corner, Hendrickson up top for Elderkin. Elderkin, drive, runner in the lane, blocked away. Heckman, foul called. 2 at the line, and Calvin Christian can take the lead back. Looks like they'll get Tyson Mann actually on the foul, grabbing down low. 6:37, fourth quarter, 37-36. Second foul of the game on Tyson Mann, fourth of the half on the Bulldogs. And the lanky wing, Matthew Elderkin, the 6'5 junior, will go to work at the charity stripe here. First free throw, good. Elderkin was 7, and the game tied at 37. Elderkin, free throw, too short, tied at 37. High leaping rebound. Regneris secured. He'll give it on to Hendrickson. The defense clears out for Calvin Christian. Hendrickson will walk it up the floor, and that 35-second shot clock gets rolling. 6:33 in the last fourth quarter, tied at 37. Swung right wing, Tyson Mann, holding the ball high above his head, finds Heckman, swung left wing, Hendrickson, left corner, Stockwell, thought about the jumper, feeds it free throw line to Regneris, left corner, catch and shoot three, Stockwell, strong, rebound, tipped out of there by Tyson Mann, top of the key, race to the basketball, foul on Quentin Hendrickson. He grabbed Jack Ajema from behind in the fight for the ball. That's the 15th foul on the Bulldogs. 5 on either team, 2 there on Hendrickson, 6:15 to go, fourth quarter. Jack Ajema up the right side of the floor. Throws right wing for Hendrickson. Hendrickson dips around a defender, free throw line, turns the back, right hand layup, blocked away by Cam Regneris. Rebound down to Quentin Hendrickson, thrown over the timeline for Corbin Heckman. Heckman, right wing with the basketball, picks up the dribble in a double team, top of the key on to Regneris, swung left wing, Tyson Mann. Mann, left corner, all alone, Stockwell triple try, misses everything strong, the rebound secured by Heckman, but they'll say a foul is called on Heckman as he did so, pushing after that one. So now 6 fouls on the Bulldogs, just 3 straight go on them, and 2 fouls on the Bulldog power forward Corbin Heckman. 5:47, fourth quarter, tied at 37. Calvin Christian will hold the basketball up top with Cameron Hendrickson. Starts the right-hand dribble, onto Ajema right wing, defended by Hendrickson. Ajema bounces around a screen, top of the key, working a left-hand dribble, crosses, now faced up defensively, free throw line by Hendrickson, picks up the dribble there, able to find an exit pass up top for Hendrickson. Hendrickson in the lane, lobs it up for Boma, he'll go back down with it, 2-hand shot, blocked away, race to the ball in the corner, taken by Stockwell off the effort, and the Bulldogs the basketball. Double team on to Hendrickson, reaches around the defenders, found Regneris, and a timeout called by Coach Young. 5:14, fourth quarter, tied at 37. A great one here from Calvin University for certain. Do not go anywhere.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FI.
All right, welcome back to Calvin. Nate Dreyer with you here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. 5:14 to go, fourth quarter. Grandville, Calvin Christian, and Grandville tied at 37 in the first game of the invite. Hendrickson lobs into the backcourt to Tyson Mann. Mann, some backcourt pressure on him from Ajema. The double team comes. He jump passes over the timeline. Hendrickson Right corner for Heckman, back right wing for Quinn Hendrickson. Throws it to the corner for Heckman again. Lobs it across the floor, left corner. Stockwell all alone, tries a three, rattles out. Another open look he just can't quite knock down. And the Squires the rebound onto Ajema. Tied at 37 inside 5 minutes. Lob pass goes through the hands of James Daniels. He crashes into the Calvin Christian student section trying to save the basketball. Cannot do so, and the Bulldogs take over. That Calvin Christian trap, though, going to come back out right here. Inbounded right side to Heckman, back on to Hendrickson. Back Heckman right side. He'll pick up the dribble, give it on to Hendrickson. Throws over the timeline with one hand to Stockwell, who races left wing with it. Stockwell whips up top Hendrickson. Hendrickson walks into an open triple. Rattles on out. Rebound fought for on the floor. Heckman had it, lost it. Stockwell chases it down. He's got the ball right corner in the double team. Whole bunch of pressure on him. Sent down to the floor, out of bounds. Last touched by Calvin Christian. 4.5 to go, fourth quarter, 37-37. Right corner inbound here for the Bulldogs and Tyson Mann. Along the baseline, he'll throw this one in. 30 seconds on that shot clock, 4.5 to go, fourth quarter. Mann, right corner, Hendrickson with space, launches a three. Too strong, leaping rebound, James Daniels. Left wing to Hahn. DeHaan, top of the key, bounces into the lane, floater through traffic, good. What a shot from Carson DeHaan. He's got 13. He gives his team the lead back as he somehow found a way to put that one home. 39-37, final 4 minutes of the fourth. Up top for Hendrickson, bounces around a screen set by Heckman, right corner Tyson Mann. Along the baseline, dribble drive, jump pass, left corner, extra feed all the way around, top on to Regneris. Regneris triggers a triple, too strong, leaping rebound, James Daniels. 3:55 and less. Fourth quarter, 39-37. Ajema will back it out and set it up, defended here by Hendrickson. And a timeout called by Coach Veltema as the Bulldogs were pressuring right there. So they will look to set things up. Calvin Christian, a 2-point lead, is I believe their largest of the game. It's been close throughout the entire second half, but the Squires able to take the advantage right now, 39-37. Some open looks for the Bulldogs, which has been part of their problem throughout this year, early in this year, not falling right now. The Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame celebrates the city's rich sports history by honoring prominent West Michigan athletes and those who have contributed greatly to sports on a local, state, or national level. The GRS-HOF also presents annual events in support of West Michigan athletics and raises funds to support local youth organizations and charities. Follow the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame on Facebook and check out pictures and biographies of all 181 inductees at GRSHOF.com. Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency, Centennial Securities, the presenting sponsors of Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. We thank them again, and we welcome you during this timeout back inside Van Noord Arena. The first horn goes, and the teams will have to break out right here, but what a close coming. Calvin Christian has taken that 39-37 advantage. Can they hang on to it? Or will the Bulldogs have something to say right here? The Squires are going on offense. We'll flip it back around as we will go back underway in just a moment. Both huddles break. Calvin Christian, home white uniforms, numbers in green. It's the traveling Maroons for the Bulldogs with numbers in gray. Right side inbound in front of his own bench. Cameron Hendrickson to throw it in. Got it up top to Ajema in front of the timeline. He'll angle left wing with the basketball. Defended by Ryder Haight. Two-hand feed, left wing back for Hendrickson. Hendrickson right side, onto Ajema again. Ajema whips one left corner, onto Hogan. He'll face the basket, launch a three, bury it. Jace Hogan's first points of the game, a triple. It's 42-37, Calvin Christian. Heckman up the right side of the floor. Kicks top of the key for Hendrickson. Hendrickson right side for Mann. That one goes through his hands, out of bounds on the miscommunication. And it will be Calvin Christian basketball again. 5-point lead for the Squires. And Coach Young wants a timeout. He wants to settle things down right here. 3:10 to go, fourth quarter. Calvin Christian by 5, their largest lead. We'll be right back here from Van Noord Arena.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly...
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINR.
Welcome back to Calvin and the invite presented by Grand Rapids Storm. Jason and company put this on. Really terrific event in the very early stages. 3:10 to go, fourth quarter. A foul called on Ryder Haight on the inbound as he was grabbing onto Jack Ajema, and that will be the team's seventh, and that will send Calvin Christian to the line for a 1-and-1. It's Ajema going to the line. 3:10 to go, fourth quarter. Calvin Christian, their largest lead of the game is 5. It's right now 42-37. Paul Bowman checks back in for Coach Veltema, along with James Daniels. Hendrickson taking a seat, along with Hogan. The Bulldogs had an 8-point lead at the half. Calvin Christian, in particular, using that 2-2-1 trap to bother them, able to erase the deficit before the final frame. They've continued that advantage into the second half. Bend to the knees, right-hand free throw on the way, pure for Jack Ajema. Lead is now 6, 43-37. He has 3. Three dribbles, bend to the knees, Ajema, free throw, pure, hit them both. He's got 4. Calvin Christian now leads at 44-37. 3:10 to go, fourth quarter. Bulldogs have to up their attack a little bit right here. Calvin Christian settles into a half-court defense. Two-hand skip feed, left elbow on to a driving Cam Regnaris. He'll spin at the block, kick it up top for Hendrickson. Back down low for Regnaris. Able to settle down the basketball. Gave a shoulder, fader, strong, rebound, batted out, secured by Daniels. Calvin Christian, the basketball again, left to right over the timeline of the Gemma. Bulldogs up in the pressure a little bit in the half court. 2:45 and less, fourth quarter, 44-37. Ajema drives, Euro step, left-hand shot, good. Ajema was 6 in his team's last 4, and the Squires with a 9-point lead, 2.5 in the fourth quarter. Tyson Mann drives right baseline, floater, good off the glass, and a foul. Tyson Mann was 6, able to score off the window through the contact. I think they'll get DeHaan on the foul. They will, that's his 3rd. Both teams now with 6+ fouls, 6 on Calvin Christian, 7 on the Bulldogs, 46-39. Daniels will check out as Jace Hogan comes in his place. Tyson Mann at the line looking for the three-point play. The senior bends the knees, right-hand free throw, pure. Mann with 7, the Bulldogs within 6, 46-40, and they bring out the full court press of their own in a man-to-man set. Ajema watched by Ryder Haight up the right side of the floor, crosses back left side, not over the timeline yet. He'll now blow over the timeline of the left-hand dribble and get caught up on that Calvin University logo at center floor right after. Ajema gave it off, got it back, kicks it right wing for DeHaan. Big jab step, shoots it over top of Hendrickson, good! Carson DeHaan with 16 of his own and buries that one right over top of a defender. 49-40 Calvin Christian. Final 2 minutes of the fourth. Tyson Mann drives, right-hand layup, good. Mann attacking and driving. Answers back with 2 of his own. 49-42. Bulldogs bring the pressure on. Ryder Haight all over Ajema. Foul going to be called on Hendrickson as he sends Ajema, who is already kind of flailing down, to the floor. And that will be the team's 8th, and that will be a 1-and-1 coming up here for the Squires. Foul is actually, they're going to get Ryder Haight, not Hendrickson on it. That's his 3rd. Summers will check in here for Heckman. So the Bulldogs with 4 guards around Cam Regnaris right now. 1:49 fourth quarter, 49-42 Calvin Christian. First free throw on the way, Ajema rattles home. He'll have another one coming. 50-42 Calvin Christian. They have certainly done an excellent job, led by their senior guard here down the stretch. They were down 8 at the half. They now lead by 8. Second free throw, good. Hit them both. So Gemma's got 7, and his team leads 51-42. Tyson Mann over the timeline, working against the half-court pressure. Hands off there for Hendrickson. Jump pass down low, looking for Regneris. Regneris able to run to a loose ball. Kick it on to Tyson Mann. He'll angle into the lane. Floater strong. Rebound ripped down and secured by Daniels. He'll play it on to a Gemma. The Bulldogs have gone cold again. Final 90 seconds. 51-42. Timeout called by the Calvin Christian bench. They'll call for a quick 30 right here, and they'll talk about things as Jace Hogan will check in along with Cameron Hendrickson for their side. 51-42, Calvin Christian over Grandville, 127 in the fourth quarter. Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency, Centennial Securities are presenting sponsors at game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Big day, and of course thanks to Michigan Sports Radio and all of our partners there as well you've been hearing from throughout the day, and we'll continue to hear from for helping us put this on, also helping us be here at this great event. 2 more games here on game night, 1 more game after that as well on Michigan Sports Radio with the Grand Rapids Catholic Central team. And I mean, when it comes to high school basketball in West Michigan, all of the big events are right here on Michigan Sports Radio. All of the Cornerstone Holiday Tournament will be on our airwaves, along with you also being able to find both days of the 2K23 Showcase as well that's coming up at the end of January and the beginning of February. Bulldogs breaking out a 2-2-1 half-court trap of their own. Left side, Carson DeHaan swings back up top for a Gemma. A Gemma against a double team, splits through a couple of Bulldog defenders, keeps the dribble all the way left corner. He's fouled by Hendrickson, who was grabbing onto him. 1:14 to go, fourth quarter. Bulldogs down 51-42. They're going to start the foul game right here a little bit as Daniels and Boma will check in. Hendrickson takes a seat, Hogan takes a seat, and a Gemma will go to the line. He's been huge down the stretch in this game. Leading scorers, Cam Regneris with 27, leads all scorers and leads the Bulldogs. Right now, 16 points for Carson DeHaan. Colin Highbor kneels, he'll get set to check back in here for Grandville. First free throw, good. 1 more coming up here for a Gemma. He's got 9. Summers takes a seat as Highbor comes into the game. And 1 more for the senior guard Gemma as he looks to go for double digits. Flicks it up with the right hand, scores it pure. What a second half for him. He's done almost all that 10 points of scoring in the second half. Tyson Mann blows over the timeline, defended by a Gemma. Lost the handle and lost his footing. Regathers and throws up top for Highbor. Highbor swings left wing Hendrickson. Up fake. Now launches a triple. Pure. And immediately a timeout called by Coach Young after Hendrickson knocks that one down. Defense for offense. Summers will check in, and some substitutions on the other side as well, as Hendrickson and Hogan will come in for Calvin Christian. It's a 30-second timeout for the Bulldogs. 101 fourth quarter. 52-45, Calvin Christian leading Grandville with just over 60 seconds, 61 to be exact, remaining in the first game of the day here at the Invite at Calvin University. Great atmosphere already, and only going to get better as the day goes along, especially building to those incredible 2 nightcap games that are featuring a couple of the top 4, exactly, of the top teams in West Michigan. A really good one up next as well. Kenowa Hills, Forest Hills Central, some really high-level players in that matchup will highlight this game as well. But now Calvin Christian looking to overcome that 8-point halftime deficit, pick up a win after losing last night. Grandville trying to avoid losing after they were winners over Wyoming last evening. Bulldogs will bring the pressure right here. Diamond in 1 trap. Inbounded here along the baseline to a Gemma. A Gemma works right side. It's Nate Summers that's running all over him. Throws it in that corner on to Elderkin. Elderkin skips one along. Tyson Mann knocked it away. Mann tries to save it with a quick punch move as he dives into his student section. Can't quite do so. Out of bounds. Calvin Christian inbound again. But again, the Bulldogs will run more of that initially what looked like a diamond in 1 type trap in right away. Coach Veltema now also, before they get the next playoff, will call another timeout as his team has to get a bit of their footing against the Bulldogs' full court trap. Havoc trap it was right there. Of course, Coach Young has a little bit of that background going back to, of course, being an assistant coach under Coach Taylor at Grand Rapids Christian, running the full court Havoc pressure, and they do it right there. I think as he mentioned our pregame interview and preseason interview to me, they just don't quite have the depth and numbers this season on the team to press and trap all the time, and he is a man-to-man guy in terms of his presence in general as well and his philosophy. But we've seen it work, but also right here, late in the game, we saw last year the Bulldogs erase a couple late deficits with the pressure, and they're going to have to try to do so once more right here. Right now down 7, 52-45, and we are inside the final 53 seconds of the contest. Kenowa Hills, Forest Hills Central, both are out in their tunnel. Right after this, make sure you stay tuned after this game. Make sure, you stay tuned all day here on Michigan Sports Radio and Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. But first, make sure you stay tuned to our Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency postgame show. We'll hand out the Centennial Securities Player of the Game during our post-game coverage, so make sure you do not go anywhere with that. And then don't go anywhere because we've got 2 more games on our air and 1 more on Michigan Sports Radio later tonight as well, as you've got day-long coverage here of the invite. Inbound to a Gemma, lost the handle, rolls nearly out of bounds. Hogan picks it up out of a trap. And a foul called on the Bulldogs. It was Stockwell, or Summers, I should say, flying down to the floor, but they will get Hendrickson for a push from behind. That's the 9th team foul, and that'll be a 1-and-1. Actually, sorry, that's the 10th team foul, and that'll be 2 at the line for Calvin Christian here. It's that 4th foul on Quentin Hendrickson. Jace Hogan, who hit that triple earlier, will go to the line. Those are all 3 of his points, that earlier triple. Hybor will kneel at the scorer's table here. Hogan, right-hand free throw, good. Hit that one, he's got 4, so Hybor comes in for the Bulldogs. Boma checks in for Calvin Christian. One more for Hogan, bends the knees, knocks him down. Hit them both, he's got 5. It's 54-45, back up to a 9-point game as Daniels will check in here for Hogan, defense for offense. Some token pressure on Tyson Mann in the backcourt. Mann blows over the timeline of the right-hand dribble all the way to the basket, whips the hands free. Right-hand hook shot will not fall. Rebound down to Elderkin, fouled from behind. He'll have 2 at the line. I think they'll get Tyson on the foul. We'll see. And they do. So foul on Mann. Team's 11th, his 3rd. 37.7 fourth quarter. 55-45 in this one. Getting increasingly academic as we've gone double digits. The lead for Calvin Christian after they trailed by 8 at the half. So they have an 18-point advantage over the Bulldogs in the second half of play. And the first free throw for Elderkin at the line goes straight down off the front rim, no good. Summers will check in here for the Bulldogs. Hybor takes a seat. They've been switching defense for offense every possession here. One more for Elderkin. Lanky Jr. bends the knees, flicks it up with the right hand, and scores it. Squires by 11, 56-45. Tyson Mann, the basketball, pulls up, deep 3. Too short, front rim. Rebound to Regnaris, back up top. Another deep 3 from where the volleyball line would be for Tyson Mann. He can't knock that one down. As that's short, rebound to Elderkin. Final 23 seconds, Bulldogs pull off the pressure. Final 15 seconds. And the Bulldogs are going to let them dribble it out. 56-45, a come-from-behind effort by Calvin Christian. They trailed by 8 at the half, but they wind up winning it by 11. Some clutch shooting down the stretch. Their defense, and especially their trap in the third quarter, plays a really big role in this one, and they are able to come away with their second win of the season. Calvin Christian goes to 2-1 on the season as they avenge their loss against Unity Christian a night ago. Grandville now falls to 1-1 on this young campaign as they 56-45, your final. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back with our Centennial Securities postgame show.
Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
And welcome back into our Centennial, or our Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency postgame show, where we will be presenting our Centennial Securities player of the game. All right, 56-45. Calvin Christian comes from behind. They're down 8 at the half. They pick up the win over the Bulldogs in this one. Quick scoring leaders. Cam Ragnaris leads all scores. He goes for 27 in this ball game. And Carson DeHaan leads the winning team, Calvin Christian, with 16. So our Centennial Securities player of the game, we typically give it to a winning player. So we'll keep that alive, and we'll give Carson DeHaan our Centennial Securities player of the game, but certainly an honorable mention there to Cam Ragnaris. But DeHaan, the big triple in particular at the end of the game, that kind of was the one that iced it away. Some tough baskets as well. He helps lead his team to victory in this one. 56-45. Calvin Christian now goes to 2-1, as I mentioned on the year. Grandville falls to 1-1, and we've got a lot more. Forest Hill Central, Kenowa Hills have started their warm-up. We're going to quick play the MHSAA This Week report, go and reset the game with an intro as well, and we'll be right back for Game 2 of the Invite. Calvin Christian, our first winner of the day. We will be right back.